welcome to the stream. My name is Nell, and I'm here with Okamu.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, as you just heard, we are here today for the Champlain Deep Sea Charity Tournament. We love to see a good cause, Splatoon community. I know you guys are so awesome. So make sure that we are hitting these dono goals today because guess what? For every tier of dono that you hit today, we're gonna mess with the tournament a little bit. You guys get to mess with the tournament a little bit. We're gonna have Twitch chat vote. Is that not amazing?
I think we're in for a super exciting time. We did have to start just like a little bit late because the team that we were deciding to stream today had a little bit of a hiccup, but we should be all good to go as we are getting into it. This is best of 3. So we'll see how it goes. This is a draft tournament, so I mean the teams are basically comprised of a little bit of everything. We don't really know what we'll be seeing here yet, but I mean I see 2 splatlings, one on both teams, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, we have got some mix and match madness going on today. Starting out with On the Hook versus Trade Evolution here. On the Hook bringing out a heavy splatling for that crazy amount of paint. That tent umbrella is going to be a huge pain. So let's see how Trade Evolution moves to counter.
Looks like On the Hook is going to be taking control of the zone for the first time. The first 30 seconds of the match is going to get the points down to 89. That's not a shabby lead, but I mean, I do expect the zone fights to be kind of back and forth. But I mean, what can I say? We already have one person up on Trade Evolution. So On the Hook is sitting pretty with that lead we got here. They don't have a penalty under their belt. It doesn't look like anybody has countered this zone just yet. I mean, everybody's just kind of farming for their specials right now to prepare for the counter push from Trade Evolution as they try to get back in.
Yeah, just about to get this cooler out from the heavy edit here. It looks like we're not even really going to need the cooler to make this push happen unless we get some 2 picks down on the side of Trade Evolution, stopping that push before it really gets going. And the zone is neutral for now, but going to be taken down once again. On the Hook, putting on a strong start here.
On the Hook is at a very advantageous position right now, considering they are still in charge of the zone, and we are seeing some specials being popped. We're seeing the crab online, and I mean, I think that the tent is just really giving Trade Evolution some difficulties here. The tent is a great opportunity for the teammates to kind of move forward here. We do see a pick on the 10 and the heavy. So, I mean, maybe this is Trade Evolution's opportunity to come and flip the zone back. We're going to really try and get the zone, but I mean, we are going to be getting it now. But On the Hook has a hefty penalty to eat through, so it's still anybody's game.
Yeah, really unfortunate there for Trade Evolution. They had the 2 down and 2 specials up on their side, but the Reef Slider and the Zuka couldn't quite get the value they were hoping for. So On the Hook, even though they were briefly losing that zone there, they were still able to keep control of their choke. And so now we're seeing really a fight over mid once again, just like it's the start of the game.
If it were me and if I were Trade Evolution, I would just like sit my little butt in that zone and make sure it stays painted for 5 more seconds just to make sure there's not any shenanigans going on to where we're not going to be getting the lead. However, we are getting the lead here. The control is being fought forward from On the Hook. So we are going to be flipping the zone again, and On the Hook does have 2 specials under their belt. We have the Zuka coming out, as we can see, in the choke area, as well as the hammer. They're just throwing everything and the kitchen sink at Trade Evolution. They really want to chew through this penalty and guarantee that they're able to have a strong foothold. And I mean, this map is pretty snowbally, so I mean, at this point, if they're able to keep this pressure up, it's pretty much all she wrote.
Yeah, Golonka getting in on the wiper there with an excellent angle all the way in their spawn, saying, if you want to drop into your own plat area, you're going to have to deal with me first. And it looks like that strategy is going to be paying off because as the brush goes down, these last 5 ticks going, do we get a contest? Oh, it doesn't quite come through, and On the Hook is going to take game 1.
For sure. I mean, I did see Trade Evolution trying to do a little last-ditch effort flank there. It was shut down pretty quickly, though. I will say that I think that On the Hook is just they really seem to have some pretty good team synergy. They seem to be on the same page, which we always like to see in tournaments like this when it's kind of comprised of just a bunch of random people, you know, just figuring their stuff out. We see little bumpers there, and I always love to see that whenever there's a winning team.
Bumpers.
Bumpers!
Yes, I think part of looking at their Team Comp, I think part of what is able to make that aggression really shine here is that heavy splatling. Able to put out so much paint on the current patch, you can just have someone sit on the heavy splatling, take care of that zone, take care of the off angles just with the paint there, and say, okay, aggro people, you go have fun, I'll be here, don't worry about it. And when you have that kind of confidence that like the objective's under control, you can just do what you want, it is so strong in this kind of flex play setting.
For sure. And I mean, I really love to see a 10. I love to play alongside a 10. I could never play it myself, but I really admire people who do. It just provides so many fun opportunities for entry, especially with the Inkzuka there. I mean, once they got hold of that choke, it was pretty much over. It's very difficult to retake on ramen zones, but I mean, like I said, it is best of 3, so they aren't written out just yet. On the Hook is going to have to win the next one if they want to guarantee the win. However, Trade Evolution, you still have an opportunity. We're going to be going over to Clams on Mako Mart upcoming soon.
Clams, buying some clams at the market. What are we going to see here? Interestingly, I think the heavy comp, especially with that kind of wiper setup, still going to be very strong here with that paint control and the ability on these two side flanks of Mako, of course, to allow those little rat-like weapons to just sneak up behind you on the side there. Definitely something you're going to have to look out for. Maybe come up with a way to better control those sides. We're going to have to see if Trade Evolution makes any adjustments to their comp here, if they're just going to let it ride.
For sure. I mean, I would expect to see some blasters here. I don't know if anybody on these teams play blaster, but I mean, with all the ledges, and as a splatling player, we love our ledges. So if there is just like a bucket or something to really just push people from off of their stack, off of the ledges, just push back, then that would, really open the floor to some really strong advantages. So let's see if there's any comp changes. We are seeing the Kraken splatling, definitely to try and move people away. And I mean, we're not seeing that much AoE, except we are seeing the bucket from neutral.
Yeah, I believe that's the Horns Dreadringer.
I couldn't tell you
what it has. Okay, good.
I have not played comp.
We get to see it now. Thank you, Spectator Cam. It's Crab and Curling Bob, and awesome. That Crab is going to be brutal, putting out so much pressure onto that stack there as Trade Evolution is going to move up with their clans here. Unfortunately, looking more like a trade situation than maybe they had hoped, and the cooler only just coming online now. That's going to be a little awkward of a stagger here. We'll see if they can restabilize before this push comes in from On the Hook.
It all happened so quickly. I was looking at the Clams economy and I was like, oh, On the Hook seems to be pretty set, and then 3 of them went down, and I'm like, oh, never mind. On the Hook is not set at all. It just shows how fast-paced these type of games can be. We see Saturday over there having to jump out just because deep in enemy territory, trying to secure that power clam just to make sure that it's safe and that they are in a safe position, but not if that brush on the stack has anything to do with it, and neutral is going to be holding down the fort with that Dread Ringer here. It seems like a golden opportunity for Trade Evolution to throw some clams in the basket if they're able to make a power clam. They finally are. However, they don't really have many clams to follow up with, unfortunately. We're really just going to be needing to see some points, and that's exactly what we're doing, but we got to keep that pressure up.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of it there with the jump out there. I don't think Trade Evolution quite grabbed all of the clams from their spawn at the start. And of course, for those who maybe don't know, if you don't grab all those clams at the start, you're going to lose some clam spawns later in the game. But who cares when the brush with the Zipcaster is going off saying, look, it doesn't matter if the clams aren't spawning. I'm just going to kill 2 or 3 of you, and that's going to give us the time for those few remaining spawns to work.
For sure. We're just seeing a bunch of AoE on the board with the fizzy bombs, with the hammers, with the Wavebringer, with everything. Just a lot of pinch and a lot of poke, and people are going down for it. It's a really strong lead, though. I mean, Trade Evolution, they are still in the lead, and they have 2 power clams under their belt, although they are kind of just playing it a little bit safe. They're on the back foot right now as On the Hook is really pushing into mid here. There is a Kraken available for On the Hook. It is going to be popped. We're going to be seeing the Crab try and just really prevent that Kraken from getting anywhere, and it is going to work really well. So that was a neutralized special under the belt, and it's really just the neutral game of clams, classic neutral clams right now.
Yeah, I am a bit curious as to why we're using the Kraken heavy splatling on this map in particular. With all these walls around, it can be a little awkward for the Kraken to move and really take advantage of that flat terrain that it really loves so much. And already we see the pure paint prowess of the Dreadringer coming out here. Another crab, just when we finished talking about the first one. But it is just a scrap in mid as we are looking to try and burn through this penalty for Trade Evolution, but they're not quite going to get it, turning 25 points into a 15-point penalty, but no more score on the board.
I mean, with the Dreadringer and Zap and the Heavy, it is just a disgusting amount of paint, amount of blue paint specifically, just able to push them back. And I mean, with the poking power, I'm not really sure who's getting these picks. I think it's the Octobrush. The Octobrush is doing a fantastic job at really securing these kills. It just seems like nobody is prepared for this Octobrush to be in their face. And it's faring really well for Trade Evolution. However, it does seem like On the Hook, excuse me, is ready to make their push. They just aren't really able to get the perfect opportunity to do it. We're throwing the clam in. We're really just trying to be aggressive here. Let's see if they're able to make any special plays. We're just a few clams short of a lead swap, but with 3 down, it's looking like it may be a lead swap.
Yeah, that was some crazy presence of mind from Golunka there with the hammer throw, saying, you know, we've been slowed down because of all this paint and this brush keeps getting behind us. So I assume that call was made and we just immediately 180'd that stamp. And without that pincer pressure, you're only relying, if you're Trade Evolution, on your paint. And now this slower comp that's using all of its paint to try and hold space now is forced to engage once again. They've got the crab out. We'll see how it's going to go for them here.
I mean, that's the problem when you have a very a slower comp, just a very paint-heavy comp, is that you really need that poking power. Neutral here, it's a crab fight. It's a crab fight. Neutral lost the crab fight, but I mean, Mix-a-Lot also lost, so there's no winners in the crab fight, unfortunately. But the brush that has been terrorizing this match has gone down, unfortunately. It's 2 down from Trade Evolution. They're really going to need to make a last-ditch effort, but I don't think they have enough clams. It's already it. We are in overtime, though. I mean, On the Hook is just trying to secure their win, and I mean, that's it. It was a best of 3, and On the Hook was like, okay, we woke up, we're good.
Yeah, once you have that basket open in overtime, all you need is that one clam in to say the game's over. And, you know, if you die getting that one clam in, it's worth it, right? So just a wonderful turnabout that we saw there from On the Hook there. So Trade Evolution, unfortunately, going to go down in that first group match there. But again, it's just groups. You know, we've got more. We've got plenty more Splatoon, and that is a very good thing, because that is also more time for you guys to get some donations in.
For sure. I think I may have missed a gimmick vote that was happening. Cyan, the mod, was like, there's a gimmick vote happening, and then I totally missed it. So unfortunately, I don't even know what the gimmick vote won. Wait, no, never mind. Gimmick vote is up right now. Everybody, if you're not stuck in advertisement hell, or heck, I'm sorry, excuse me. If you're not stuck in advertising heck, the vote is now open if you want to add a gimmick or just really, just vote for whatever you want these silly teams to do for charity.
Yeah, and if we could get a little bit more information here. I'm pulling up the graphic here. We have 3 different tiers of gimmicks that we can potentially see here. So tier 1, you can have up to 5 of these gimmicks active, I believe. And so tier 1 has 5 just to start us out. Only 1 of each sub per team. So forcing the variety a bit there. Even more so, only 1 of each special per team. I don't think that was really an issue in this previous match, but some people, of course, love their Tensu missiles, love their Zukas, so just breaking the ice a little bit there. Ninja Squid is banned. Dun, dun, dun. Putting those front lines a little bit on notice there. 1 required dually or Brella per team, so, I mean, we had the tent already, you know. Little Brella gaming already, but we might see some more. And then only 1 player can run Stealth Jump per team. So wow, no ninja squid and only one person gets stealth jump. We really said Frontlines rated it.
For sure. So the vote is open just for a little bit longer, but I mean, my personal vote, I voted only one player can run stealth jump per team because I want to see people camping jumps.
Yes. I wish that okay. I'm gonna have a little bit of rant here. Okay. I wish that stealth jump was just a little bit bigger, because I love seeing when the backlines actually get to show their game sense by finding those secret little holes that they can get all of the jumps into safely.
Oh yeah.
And stealth jump, you just don't get to see it that much. You just get to jump in. It just gets to happen. Okay, I'm not mad. It's fine.
I mean, yeah, like you said, having no stealth jump really requires the backline, or the anchor, so to speak, to really just force themselves to have good positions. Forcing themselves to reposition in vulnerable times of the match is very important. And I mean, if your entire team is running stealth, I guess it just doesn't really matter. But in my opinion, I think it forms bad habits. But I mean, it's kind of required in most comps. So what do I know? I'm just washed up.
Yeah, especially when we have that tacticooler, right? You're just immediately back right away, and then you're invisibly back into the fight. It can be some crazy aggro, which we love to see, but maybe a little bit more balance. And if you want to really slow down the game, if you really hate seeing action at that tier 2 level of dono, one of those options that opens up is banning tacticooler from the tournament.
I think nature would be healing.
No more soda. Only healthy ink for our.
We got a winner. Looks like the gimmick is going to be one dually or Brella is required on each team.
Interesting. So maybe it's in a bit more of the tent, or maybe just a bit more of the dualies. We'll have to see what people are familiar with here.
I mean, we saw somebody had a tent, and I mean, dualies are a pretty common class for very aggressive play styles, so I wouldn't be surprised if we had somebody that was able to flex to those. However, it would be really exciting if we just had a team that's like, I don't know how to play either of those, but I guess we have to.
Yeah, I am trying. Take a quick scroll through here. I'm seeing a good number of dually players here, so we might be seeing a bit more dualies than Brella.
Okay, so our next match is going to be going over to round 2 of Swiss, and we are going to be seeing Hyrax Lovers versus Side of Marinara, and the emoji that is kind of a little box on your screen is just the happy face with all the hearts around it. So in case you're missing out on whatever that emoji is, it's a little happy face heart.
Amazing. I love it. But yeah, so Side of Marinara here. Just taking a quick look through who we've got on this team. We have got... Oh, I thought that said Wit. No, it's just W followed by the pi symbol. We have Phantom, Briganator, Duke Loser, and Clover. In terms of weapons, we got some rollers from Phantom here, some backline in general from Briganator, Blaster on the side of Duke Loser, and another roller player in Clover. So we've got 2 roller players on the same team. That's a choice.
I just want to mention that Hyrax Lovers, since this is a draft tournament, we were talking about this earlier, this is a team that is comprised of one person that has, quote, not once participated in Anarchy Battle. Ever.
What?
Ever.
What?
So I'm really excited to see how this is going to play out. However, the team is kind of given a buff because they have Tacos on the team, CCA Div 1, and they also have Ontos on the team, CCA Div 1. So that's how it's balanced out a little bit. I think it's going to be super fun to watch, and I hope that we're able to make a true comp player out of this person.
Yes, we'd love to see people getting more into this game. It is such an amazing game. The community is amazing. And you know how I know the community is amazing now?
How do you know?
Because we already have a gimmick and we're only one round into this tournament, which means people have been donating.
Yay! I'm glad that we're getting some donations in. It looks like we're doing really well so far. Let me refresh the page. We have raised $746 already, and that is fantastic. We're already at, I believe, the silver goal, but if we get to the 1,000, then it's the gold goal, and the goal is $2,000 if we can make it there.
Wow, amazing. So much money for a good cause. You love to see it. And we get some great gameplay out of it as well.
So I'm really excited. I really love when the community can get together for a good cause. And I mean, let me look and see if I can explain a little bit about what the charity is. It's for Extra Life, which is a children's medical network, and it's basically just it's for the children's hospital. NELL use words challenge, very difficult failure, critical
Beautiful.
failure.
Yes, Extra Life is such a great charity. Even back when I was in undergrad, I'm old, I know, I don't need to hear it.
I'm also
back
old
when I was in undergrad, we would also do charity with Extra Life. I've seen a number of Extra Life charities even happening just within the Splatoon community in the past few years. It is such a good cause. They do such good work. So just pretty please, you know, we've got a crazy world. If you can make it a little bit better, we ask just a little bit of you here today. And if charity itself isn't good enough, right? Maybe just think of it as, you know, a little payment for all this great gameplay, this great tournament that we're gonna see today. You know?
For sure.
Little tip for tat.
According to our backstage assistants, tournament started running with $500 already raised. So in one round, we've already raised $170, which is fantastic. Thank you all for showing up and just, I know times are tough right now, but genuinely, your generosity is very much appreciated. And anything that you donate will help to making these lovely, lovely teams have a terrible time in their gimmicks.
Yeah, if we could maybe take a look at those tier 2 gimmicks as we're trying to work our way up there. I already mentioned the no tact cooler allowed, but this is the one I've got my eye on, okay? Everybody knows what's the worst possible timing for a Splatoon tournament to happen, right? It's Splatfest. Because somebody is going to forget to change their gear, and you're gonna have to restart the room, and it's awful, and everybody hates it. So, the wonderful and genius TOs who have designed this second tier included all players must wear the Splatfest tees. So generous, making everybody not have to worry about forgetting since it's a Splatfest weekend. Just so amazing.
That is awesome. Thankfully, nobody has to forget to change their gear. They can just use the Splatfest tee. And I mean, honestly, if you're a turf warrior like me, you would have already, maxed out your shirt. You would have already put the gear that you needed on it. So this is a boo-hoo for for whoever is not playing turf war.
And what are we gonna say? Ability doubler is bad? Who would believe such a thing?
I don't think it's bad. I think people are just sleeping on greatness, and the greatness is the Splatfest tee that goes away like every month.
Yes, but besides those two options, you can also get rid of all the lethal bombs. Of course, we don't have Bomb Sniffer in the game, the best ability to ever do it. So if you don't want our poor charity competitors to have to deal with such awful things as lethal subs, you can get rid of those as well.
Oh my gosh.
If you want to make their team comps miserable, we have the option to, in addition to the required dually umbrella that we've already seen, can require a wiper or a stringer as well.
Well, I mean, we don't have to think about it much longer because we are going to be getting into the round two, game one, Hyrax Lovers versus Side of Marinara. We are seeing a Brella and a Dualies, so we are honoring that gimmick there. Ontos on the Dualies and Duke Loser on the Brella. So I'm not sure if either of these players play these weapons normally or if it's just for the gimmick, but we're about to find out.
Yeah, and the strikes already coming in from that Brella as we're trying to push this tower a bit forward here, but unfortunately for Side of Marinara, someone's going to go down. That Junior's already getting the bubble out. Maybe soon. There it is.
That's the new player. So be nice. They're doing fantastic, okay? They already are past the checkpoint. So, I mean, we are going to be keeping an eye on Hyrax Lovers, just especially taking a look at Sage Rabbit over there on the tower. We're not trying to single you out, but we just want to support you. I just want to support you. Taco's over here on the gal, really just pressuring everybody to push away, and I mean, it's just a mess. What can I say? It's a mess. We haven't really broken the checkpoint just yet, so it's not over for Side of Marinara, and they can bring it back.
Yeah, we are scrapping down in this pit here. Huge paint advantage at the moment for Hyrax Lovers. Probably because they have not just two shooters and a dually, but also the paintiest. Well, second most painty of the rollers, I suppose. Big Swig Erasure will not be tolerated, but we do have that Flingza coming in on the side of Marinara here. Or, sorry, Hyrax Lovers.
I was taking a look and I was like, oh, Side of Marinara has like not a lot of painting weapons. They are having a tough time really contesting the yellow paint on the ground right now. But I mean, it doesn't really matter. They are in charge of the tower right now. The whale is going to lock onto one person in particular. Tacos is going to try to take a fight with Ontos here. They are going to be pushed back a little bit onto the spine of the map here. We're just going to be trying to live. Both sides are just trying to live right now. Tacos is trying to aggress onto this Brella player. The Brella does have the special ready, so they are, it is a high value kill, and that is a wipe out. So that's very strong showing from Hyrax Lovers. We can see the crab all the way up in their base. We are holding no punches.
Yeah, we are pushed all the way up. You can even see that Ontos has the aura here within the crab, the auraful crab. Wonderful. The strikes are going to come out to really slow down and punish our unfortunate Flingza player there as they try to get onto the tower. But that bubble's coming out. Will Phantom get on in time? No, that is going to put an end to that first match of tower.
Really strong showing from Hyrax Lovers. They did a really good job in just holding forward and playing safe and keeping their team alive. And not to change the subject, but we do have another gimmick vote happening, so be sure to tune in on that. You already heard our opinions on what we would choose for the gimmick vote. I already voted for what I want. So be sure to put your vote in if you want to give these players a little bit of a harder time.
Yes, yes, yes. Such wonderful donations. Make sure that you are getting the benefits of that, of course. If you put in your money, make sure that you make good on it. Get that vote in.
For sure. And also, I mean, this is just from your humble accountant friend, NELL. Be sure to save anything like receipts if you can use it on your taxes for this year. Tax day is soon, baby.
Well, okay, so let's not do tax fraud. Real quick PSA. It's for next year.
No tax fraud. However, keep your receipts.
For next year. Keep
your receipts if you donate.
Not this year.
Not this year. I mean, you're running out of time if it's this year. If it's this year, I salute you. I mean...
Stay strong.
I haven't filed my taxes yet.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No, it's not fraud yet. It would be fraud if it was on the 15th, but it's not. Today's the 11th. I will get it done. Trust me. Anyways, that was a very fun match. It is best of 3, so Hyrax Lovers, they just have to win the next one in order to guarantee to move on. But Side of Marinara, they can push forward too. It's really up to them.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what kind of adjustments we make on that particular side. I'm thinking, this is just me, I'm thinking maybe a chump bow give ourselves a little bit more paint to work with as we are dealing with these weapons here. No changes on the side of Hyrax lovers. And I mean, if you
Oh.
started out with that, did I call it? Or what is that? Double roller?
That's kind of what I said ooh at. I was like, what is that comp? I don't really know what they're cooking, but they're definitely in the kitchen. What can I say? So, I mean, double roller, we're seeing the V roller, and we're seeing the Carbon Deco. Carbon Deco does have the Zuka there. I mean, do they have enough paint to be able to stealth and get some picks? The answer is yeah, they can if they work together, I guess. Oh my gosh, they can.
Yeah, that was some crazy sharking there. Through the strikes, through the chumps. Just able to pull up onto that enemy plat with Clover there, and yeah, you just gotta be so prepared for that Carbon, man. It is terrifying.
For sure,
it's down for now.
You gotta paint. We are seeing Phantom over here trying to hold down the fort in mid here, just kind of living in their bubble a little bit, trying to prevent Hyrax lovers from pushing forward at all. Hyrax lovers is going to have to push forward sooner or later if they want to ensure that they get some points on the board, because, I mean, this is kind of match point for them. If they win this one, then that is all they can do. They are in charge of the zone right now, giving side of Marinera a hefty penalty. Tacos is wreaking some havoc on the right side. Phantom is going to take them out quite quickly, and like with a blink of an eye, the zone is back in favor of side of Marinera.
Wow, I cannot believe that the Brello survived. Unfortunately, Clover's going to go down there to the unfortunate bomb. As we were saying, rest in peace, Bomb Sniffer. Best ability to ever do it. But looks like we've still got a pretty good hold here from side of Marinera. They are beginning to burn through this penalty. The Brella's just able to stall for so long out front. Another 3-down situation for Hyrax lovers. Time is starting to run out. How are they going to resolve this conundrum?
We're gonna need to see an entry special coming soon, and like I said, we see the crab popped from Hyrax lovers, but I mean, if Phantom has anything to do with it, they are gonna go down for that kill, though. Penguin is gonna try and push forward, but the Zuka just kind of is in their face. They can't do much about that. We're gonna see Clover really quickly take out somebody from Hyrax lovers in the bubble, and I mean, that's it. It's going to be 1-1 so far, so we are going to a game 3. No, neither team is written off just yet, but I mean, I think that was exciting. We were at the beginning, we were like, 2 rollers. I don't know how they're going to do that, especially with zones. But I mean, I was being a fool. I was acting a fool.
Yeah, I mean, we even saw that really smart bubble placement, just putting it on the zone there to get that extra bit of paint, try and stall that cap for a little bit longer, but that roller just able to shark in. Great job from Clover there. I wonder if, Bubble's great on tower, but it is definitely a bit harder to get some use out of that when you're on the back foot. So I'm wondering maybe if the strategy on the side of Hyrax lovers here is to just try and win really hard at the start and keep that sustain up so they don't really have to worry about pushing back in.
Yeah, just really try and get a strong foothold so that they don't have to do the retake, because honestly, I mean, retake is incredibly difficult. It's like a whole nother beast. That's just in general. Like, you know how to aggress, but you don't really know how to retake, which is it's difficult, especially if you're on a lockout scenario. I mean, we are getting into the final game here. Clams on Inkblot. It is a very we'll see what happens here. We're seeing no comp changes from the side of Marinera, but it looks like Hyrax lovers is sticking with what they know.
No, I'm scared. No, that didn't look like a clam.
Oh.
Why is the clam so big and rectangular?
I wasn't really looking at it. I'm not gonna lie. I was just on commentary mode. I didn't really check the mode.
It looks like they just forgot to change the mode real quick. So
fair enough. That happens all the time.
Inkblot is. I have such complicated feelings about this map mode. It's so good in terms of testing teams' ability to really take a diverse approach to their pushes. Because if you're just trying to force yourselves up the tiny ramp on right side, you're going to struggle. It's not that hard of a choke to hold. But you do have these multiple other options, right? You can go up the wall on left. You can try and take that rail on far left. You can even do some crazy squid roll off the ramp onto the block, try and go up the tree. So many different methods you can approach here, but how you set up the space so that your team can actually get to those angles safely and then use them, it's really a test of coordination. And add that on top of clams being such a coordination intense mode as well, it can be difficult. So we're going to have to see here, is there some interesting team play we're going to see? Or are we maybe just going to be mechanics dueling each other the entire time?
We'll see. I'm really hoping that one member of each team is a very strong shot caller. I think that having a strong shot caller can really make or break a team. You know, we really just need somebody making the calls, even if it is like not the best plan, at least it's a plan that we can go for instead of people just like kind of playing solo queue, you know what I mean? So we are seeing strikes coming out from the side of Marinera. Oh, and 3 go down from Hyrax Lovers. I don't really know what happened between the first game and these two games, but it seems the side of Marinera has really found their flow state here. We do have the Zuka out there to punish whoever's pushing forward. Not able to find anybody. However, we are still just throwing clams into the basket, but to no avail because we are paying for it with our lives.
Yeah, it looks like if you're Hyrax Lovers, you're maybe not the happiest with that push. They did get below 60, so you're unfortunately going to have to get more than just 2 power clams in on the next go around. But you did stop it roughly at 60, which when things start to get that low, no, Side Mirror taking 2 down. It's both of their rollers. This Jet is trying to control the area for dear life. It's able to get 2. The dualies are in.
We are going to have to. We're gonna have to push back because the bubble is out again, and I mean we get a power clam in, but basically all that did was kind of feed side of Marinera a pity clam there. Unfortunate that we weren't able to really push forward much more than that. But I mean, if I were side of Marinera, I would be chilling. I would maybe want to do another push eventually, but that's like not important right now. What's important right now is just making sure that like a lockout scenario is incredibly possible. We do see Phantom kind of stealthing and sharking with the roller here, able to get snuffed out by Sage Rabbit, our favorite new comp player here. We are able to get the bubble out, but not much else. Both teams are pretty much in a neutral state.
Yeah, that was actually one of the better places for a bubble on this particular map, because when you put it below that particular wall, you're actually able to climb up the wall and stand safely on top of it, because you're still in that little top bit of the bubble. Unfortunately, it didn't quite lead to anything. We just saw a bunch of trades there, and if you are Hyrax Lovers, that crab is out once again controlling this entire plat, but Phantom just going to be able to wreak some havoc with Clover there. They stay hidden until the last second, and once Hyrax Lovers moves in, that's when they reveal themselves. They strike, they get 1, they get 2. It is brutal. We're going to have to see how Hyrax Lovers is able to proactively deal with these rollers on the next few pushes.
It just seems like there's a bombardment of bombs here at whoever's sharking in mid. I mean, Side of Marinera is doing a fantastic job at really snuffing out anybody that could be stealthing around. And I mean, it's interesting because they're like, that's our play style. We're 2 rollers. You can't trick us. We know you're there. So, I mean, we are seeing another push from Hyrax Lovers. This could be a lead here. We are seeing a lead all the way down to 35. That is fantastic. And I mean, if I were side of Marinera, I'd be like, okay, great. Now we have to lock in again. So, I mean, it is possible to retake, but I mean, they're still keeping the basket open. They're doing quite a good job at staggering the clams here. We haven't even cleared out everybody from our plat area, and it just isn't looking too good for side of Marinera.
Yeah, the crab is out once again, getting another kill. We've seen the Oriful crab before it makes its return here. And we were talking earlier a little bit about how we weren't quite sure what the value of that first power clam going in was. Well, we kind of see what the value was there. They were able to get a greater push than they needed, but with that first power clam they scored earlier, it meant they only needed 2 power clams to retake lead. And that's exactly what they had. They had a few more clams, but they had those 2 power clams to get into the basket there. And so now, side of Marinara, we're going to need a pretty big push here to both burn through our our penalty, and then also push down below 23. And we only have 40 seconds to make it happen.
I mean, you really just have to pray that Hyrax Lovers makes like a dire mistake here. Like if they get a little bit too greedy for another push, then maybe Side of Marinara can punish that. We see Clover here with honestly, the stealth of a lifetime. They are going to have to rotate just a little bit to make sure that they stay alive. I mean, I remember back in the day when Echolocator was a special, and that would have been a huge value there. But I mean, Phantom with the flank, getting 1 kill, not able to make much more happen. 2 down on the side of Hyrax Lovers. 3 down on the side of Hyrax Lovers. This is Marinara's opportunity to really push forward and get some clams on the board, but do they have the economy for it? I'm not too sure if they do. They're going to have to go and find some clams and really keep that thing open. We have 1 up from side of Marinara, and that's probably it. That's the wipeout. It was so close.
4 clams off of victory. That is a heartbreaker. Still, excellent job by Hyrax Lovers to get that crazy strong push down to 23. Just able to really play to that. We have the lead. You have to do something about it. End state that you always kind of want to be in, right? Also, shoutouts to the 2 Splatfest tees on that there. Good job.
I'm just a little speechless. That's like a lot of aura. I can't. It's just so much aura to have like a huge. You won the set and you were in your Splatfest tee. Like, come on, man. Love that.
It's not even required yet.
I know, but oh yeah, by the way, gimmick vote number 3 is up, so be sure to put your votes in. It looks like there's pretty much a landslide vote here. Ninja Squid is looking to be banned, but if you want to add maybe only 1 of each sub-weapon, only 1 of each special, throw your vote in the ring, but we'll see.
Maybe that was the backup strategy from Hyrax Lovers. They saw the gimmick vote was going. They said, okay, we need to get Ninja Squid out of here now. Game 3. Put these roller players in their place.
They were like, we gotta get them out of here. We gotta. I cannot wait for us to get to tier 2. If we're able to get to tier 2, I'm excited. I believe in the I believe in the Splatoon community. You guys are so awesome, so amazing. We've already raised so much money for charity.
We've raised more. I believe we can hit. What are we at now? Tell us.
We're at $1,097. We have raised about almost $500 since starting this stream. Fantastic job, everybody, and thank you so much.
It's been 2 rounds.
It's been 2 rounds indeed. We're only like just starting here, and everybody's doing a great job. And we unlocked tier 2 bans and picks. So I mean, I'm really excited. I'm really excited, especially if we get to do the no tacticooler allowed. I'm a cooler man. You see my little PNG with the tacticooler. I like tacticooler.
I do.
I like the juice.
Yeah, we didn't quite get to tell the 5th one in tier 2, but it is only 1 of each main per team. So potentially, if you stack all of them up, we don't have only 1 of each sub or special per team. We didn't go for those yet. Those are in tier 1. But you could potentially stack all 3 of only 1 each main, only 1 each sub, only 1 each special. And just say, okay, you like Splatoon, but do you like Sudoku?
Oh my goodness. Are you looking at the vote? I think somebody used their channel points to really swing the vote to now only 1 of each special instead of Ninja Squid is banned.
Oh.
It is neck and neck right now.
Side of Marinara said, we see what you're up to. We won't allow this to stand.
How many channel points do you guys have? Holy moly. What are you guys up to?
Yes. Fight in the Twitch chat.
It's like neck and neck. It's pretty much even. It's like a race against the clock to see which one is gonna win now, because I think whoever's voting on both sides are trying to make it balanced, but instead it's not balanced at all. Ninja Squid is no longer gonna be banned unless you guys lock in.
Save the squids versus kill the squids. Truly the speedrunning donation goal of all time.
Oh my gosh, you guys, you're making the poll too wealthy. I can't vote anymore. I don't have enough channel points. I guarantee that somebody on the team is like, guys, we have to rig the vote because I need Ninja Squid.
This is truly the difference. You know, cooler players like yourself, so willing, so gracious to give up.
Okay, Ninja Squid fans, we gotta lock in. We gotta lock in, guys. We got Ninja Squid is not banned. We gotta okay. Okay. You guys once again have disappointed me. I'm just kidding. I'm being unbiased.
You can't be disappointed in Charity.
I am not disappointed in Charity. That's not what I said.
No, I think
I hate waffles. So wait, what was the post that's like, I love pancakes. So you hate waffles?
You hate waffles?
But yeah, so it looks like we're gonna do only one of each special. Not that it was an issue last time, but you know.
Yeah, and if any of those teams were even dreaming of double cooler, of course at tier 2 we can double down, say absolutely not.
I'm
Your dreams will be crushed.
I'm kind of sad because double cooler is actually a pretty slept on comp, and I kind of love it. We call it the zombie comp. Like, get a heavy edit in there, get a tri-slosher nouveau in there, and then become zombies. You just can't die. It's so much fun. But now we can't have that. We can't have nice things.
You know, back in my day, we had Tacticooler at home. It was called stacking QR.
Okay, Grandpa, let's get you to bed.
Back in my day,
I'm from the era where I played Splatoon 1, so I remember how nutty all of those specials were. So everybody complaining about the specials in Splatoon 3, at least you weren't in the trenches in Splatoon 1 with whatever the heck Bubble got going on.
We had to look at the sky for jumps, because you couldn't see where they were landing.
You had to look at the sky for jumps because you couldn't see where they were landing is really funny, actually.
I've seen some people post clips of it in Splatoon 3, actually. It's really funny that bringing the old tech back because these stealth jumpers are getting a little out of hand.
What's that gif of Willem Dafoe looking up at the sky and he's like horrified? You know the one I'm talking about,
yes,
right?
I know exactly the one you're talking about.
That's literally like me looking at the sky for some ink strikes or some like jumps.
Oh my gosh. When you're playing on maps like Crableg that have the elevated terrain, and you see the strike marker above you, and you're like, I'm
like obsessed with that gif, it's so funny. How to tell that I'm old. Yeah, he's saying, quote, I'm obsessed with that gif. You need to put me in a home.
No homes yet. We can't afford them.
Stop, it's so true. Okay, we are going to be going to round 3
Okay, game 3, thank goodness.
We're going to be going to round 3 soon. Yeah, the gimmicks were fun. I'm really excited to see what you guys are going to vote for, and it does seem like a lot of, not inside rigging, but it does seem like whoever's playing the video game in the tournament is like dumping all of their channel points to try and prevent whatever's going on, so...
That's the narrative we're going with. If it's true or not doesn't matter. We're sticking to it.
What is it, supposedly? Or like...
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yes.
Splatoon 3 charity tournament team accused of rigging charity vote using fairly earned resources that they donated money to vote on.
Well, not even. It's channel points. It's about how long they've watched CCA.
They've got to donate the money to unlock it, though. See?
True. That's true. Evil Splatoon players taking advantage of... Whatever. Anyways, if you want to help some kids, if you want to donate to Extra Life, that is what we are supporting today. Thank you to Champlain College Esports for running this. This is awesome and super fun, and honestly, I want to see more Splatoon teams suffer. So,
can I just say I'm looking at this team matchup we have coming up next. And I love this name. Quarter Flounder with Cheese. Whoever came up with that, just know I appreciate you.
Quarter pounder with cheese.
It's quarter flounder. Quarter flounder.
Well, I don't want to eat flounder.
But the cement.
What are you talking about?
You don't want to eat Flounder Heights?
Oh, I was talking about the fish.
Fish don't exist.
Oh, you're so right. What am I talking about? Like, what am I even talking about? Oh yeah, we saw On the Hook earlier, right? And they did the
Yes, we did.
they did won. They won 2-0. So what did they do? They lost 2-0 in the last round. We were not watching that. So I mean, they're pretty much even here. What happened to Quarter Flounder with cheese? Let me take a look. Yeah, they were the same. They won 1 and they lost 1. So it's pretty much anybody's game here.
We love balanced tournament seating.
I mean, heaven knows I couldn't do it. I'd just be like, yeah, you guys fight now. No, you guys fight now. Yeah, you know.
Let's take a look at who we've got on Quarter Flounder with cheese. We've got GX Shattering, Ava, Inker2, and Victory. And in terms of what we're playing here, let me scroll to the right a bit. Oh no, I lost where we started. Okay, there we go. Okay, we've got some aggro. We've got an ink brush, paintbrush player. Interesting. Love to see it. Got a shooter player, Shot Junior Zap. Some more aggro, blaster, wiper, carbon deco. So really kind of like aggro short range. And then I love this at the end, of course, the obligatory backline with the Hydra as the primary listed weapon. I love to see it.
Actually W.
But of course, if you can play Hydra, you can play other Splatlings. So we might not get to see it, which is unfortunate, but I hope we do. I love seeing some wacky Hydra gameplay.
I'm gonna start throwing tomatoes if we don't see a Hydra Splatling on my screen within the next 2 minutes. Okay? So you better get ready. You better get your umbrellas because I'm about to start throwing tomatoes. I really if you know anything about me, I'm a big fan of Splatlings, so I just want to see more Splatling love in my life.
Oh no, the teams on the screen just changed. Uh-oh.
Oh no. No! Well, now you have to do all that work again.
No.
Well, we've already seen Hyrax lovers, and they took it home last match, so.
I'm just so disappointed. Quarter Flounder with cheese. Your name.
I'm sure that we'll be seeing Quarter Flounder with cheese eventually.
That's true. That's very true. But for now, we have the Sea Salt Shakers. I feel like there's a pun there, and I'm just not getting it. Do you have help?
It's like Salt Shakers, but with sea salt, because Splatoon is a deep sea game. Smiles and nods.
Oh. I don't know why. I was thinking of like Quakers and Shakers. I guess this isn't Collegiate teams, so there's no reason for there to be a pun about that. This is mix and match. I have no excuse. It's 3:15 in the afternoon for me. So I can't even say I'm tired.
No way, it's also 3:15 in the afternoon for me. I've already had a day. I woke up at like 9, and then I did my errands, and then I read a book. I read a little bit of a book, not a lot. But it's more than enough. We see 2 dualies on the screen, no backlines on the side of, I believe that is Sea Salt Shakers. I'm sad there's no freaking Splatlings.
Yeah, so we have Hyrax Lovers here in the orange and the Sea Salt Shakers in the blue. And we are just scrapping in mid because it's a humpback pump track and that's what we do. And if you're Hyrax Lovers, you're going to love that because you've got a machine, a splashdown, and a dynamo. The AoE is going to go crazy over these walls. And it looks like we are going to get check here. Pretty quick.
Really strong checkpoint. Really quick checkpoint too. I wasn't even paying attention to the checkpoint. I was like, oh, okay, we're just running it. Okay, we got it. That's really good. I mean, honestly, first checkpoint is not always free, but kind of free on this map to where both teams should eventually get it. But the real... Oh, they're running it. 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 Oh my gosh, they weren't looking. Oh my gosh, dude.
Can we get a moment
Deafening.
of silence for the Rainmaker, please?
Did you see the? Did you see the curling bomb?
Yeah, that's
It's happened
very
to
sad.
everybody. It's happened to me. It's happened to you. It's happened to everybody.
Yeah, it's always... I feel so conflicted because it's so great for one team. It feels so good to do, but when it's done to you, you just kind of shake your head and you go, man, how do we let that happen?
You just kind of gotta sit with your mistake and just be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, just nobody looking at the mini-map there. We saw someone loop around to that left side and take that drop, and just nobody was looking.
I saw it, but couldn't do anything about it. Like, internally, I was kind of like screaming at the team. I was being like, look, he's doing the thing. He's grabbing it, guys. But it's like, it's too late. Way too late.
Well, and it's something you don't think about very often, right? Because normally it's pretty slow. The Rainmaker has to fire for itself, but we had the devious curling bomb. The evil and awful curling bomb that was just able to paint that entire trail all the way up to the pedestal. So you only had to fire the Rainmaker once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much set. It was like the red carpet was laid. You just have to take it. And honestly, kudos to the person that ran it. They saw that opportunity and they were not punished for it. So, I mean, that's a pretty free first round. However, it is best of 3, and we know that, I mean, Seashell Shakers, I'm sure that they're able to pull it through in maybe like a less gimmicky mode. Where are we going next? Let me actually take a look here. Where are we going next? They haven't reported the score. Okay.
Shake it off, I'm sure.
For sure. I want to know what's happening in that voice chat right now. Nah. Okay, but next up, we're going to Manta Maria Power, and I'm trying to remain professional. So, I abstain my comments on Manta.
I'm not. I hate this map.
Okay. Yeah, I don't like this map either.
This is a devious combo to go from Humpback Rainmaker, which as we saw, we've seen Hyrax Lovers comp before. They swapped it completely to this dynamo machine AoE focused hitting over walls stuff. And we're going straight into Manta Tower, which is really the exact same thing. So many walls that you can hit over if you're dynamo, if you're machine, if you're any sort of bucket or roller. It's devious that these are one after the other, truly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just mess of a map after mess of a map, and it's not mess of a map. It's not the person who made the map list fault. I'm blaming Splatoon. I'm blaming everybody else.
I honestly don't dislike Humpback Rainmaker. I think it's fine. Because there's some shenanigans you can do. That choke is really strong. So as long as you're not getting C9'd, there's the opportunity to play around, right?
Mm-hmm.
Manta just feels so... I don't even know how to say. It feels like you're fighting uphill because of these walls, where like you have to swim up the wall if you're anything besides a roller or a bucket. Which, by the way, you'll note we're still keeping not a dynamo this time, the Flingza, but we've still got that machine. Of course, the tried and true junior from Sage Rose here, or Sage Rabbit. My apologies.
No worries. I am a product of the pencil meta, so I think like on this map, even though I play Splatlings, people are like, well, you have a lot of greats, what's the problem? And I'm like, well, I've simply had such a tough time. I have simply just been punished way too many times. So I mean, I really envy the people that play the game right now, because this seems to be not a walk in the park, but at least you don't have to deal with the pencil. We are seeing Ontos really get a pick with the machine here. Really good showing here in the Zuka is not going to be able to find anybody, but we're still putting out some really strong pressure as the tower is able to shoot through the checkpoint too. And I mean, the points are just melting away.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to point out, I don't often give much credit to an individual mechanical play, but that fadeaway vertical slosh as they jump back into the bunker from Ontos was amazing. Securing that kill, keeping that steamroll going, and I mean, it's.
Oh my gosh.
That's,
they said we want to win.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna win. A win is a win. What can I say?
They said no salt here. We're not salty. You're salty. That's
Guys,
that's why you're the salt shakers.
The final gimmick vote is open. I think you know what to vote for. I think you know what to vote for. Yeah, I think you know what to vote for. Am I using my channel points? Perhaps. Perhaps. Am I out of channel points? Also perhaps. But I think you guys know what to vote for, so vote wisely.
Yes, and so we can only have 5 of these active at a time. But I believe as we unlock more and we unlock up to tier 3, we'll be able to replace some of them. And chat will get to vote on what we're replacing with what. So I guess it's time. We get to go over tier 3 now? Oh boy.
Yeah, I mean,
so there's only 3 options in tier 3.
For sure. I mean, that was a pretty fast round. We still have a bunch of teams still playing right now. So maybe it's a hot second before we go to our next round.
Yeah, I mean, really just a impressive display from Hyrax lovers there. Using that AoE comp that they... I mean, you have to think they came up with it on the fly, right? Because we saw they were very dedicated to this like junior Flingza situation that we had going on before. We brought in the machine, we brought in the dynamo for these maps, just really adapted very well to the maps. And we're able to just use that to push forward. For
sure. I really liked that. Oh my gosh, the poll is balanced. We need somebody to askew the poll right now. Vote for Ninja Squid is banned. Vote for Ninja Squid is banned. Vote now. Vote.
What's the other option?
Don't worry about the other option.
What are they whispering?
Thank you to whoever voted. Oh my god, guys, stop making it balanced. Guys. I'm speaking directly into your ears right now. Please.
Perfectly balanced.
No! You guys weren't supposed to vote for the other one. No, guys.
You have to do the reverse psychology, okay?
Why don't you just swim slow? Why do you need Ninja Squid so bad? Just swim slow. Just swim slow. Isn't that difficult? Just swim slow.
Yes, but as I was saying, there are only 3 options for our tier 3s that we might get to. If y'all keep up this pace, we're absolutely seeing tier 3. It has been amazing donation so far. But tier 3, we have 1 required Sploosh, Junior, Aerospray, or Nova per team, which could be pretty interesting if you love watching spray shooters. I'm sure Hyrax lovers would be happy with that, already locked in on a junior of their own. We also have 1 required Thermal Ink, Haunt, or Tenacity per team. And we were actually talking about this pre-stream. If we go in for all players must wear Splatfest tees, Haunt and Thermal Ink are shirt locked. So we might have to see some pauses in the matchmaking as players go fix their gear. But the final option is remove 1 mode from the map list. So chat will get to say if we're never seeing clams or zones or tower. But I mean, who are we kidding? Chat's gonna get rid of Rainmaker.
I mean, I know that chat's gonna get rid of Rainmaker, but like, why can't you guys have a little bit of whimsy and actually troll the players? Why can't we remove zones? I'm sorry for even suggesting that. I don't think anybody liked that suggestion.
I think there's a level, like there's a line we have to draw in the sand, right? There are certain things we have to be willing not to subject our poor players to. And I think Rainmaker clams as your map modes is a level of psychological torture that I would not wish. Okay, maybe I would wish it. Maybe just a little. Maybe,
Come
you know,
on,
maybe
we
it's
need
fine.
some chaos. I'm a chaos person. I'm a big proprietor of chaos. I mean, yeah, every team should try to ban their worst mode, but isn't it so funny? Wouldn't it be so funny? Think about how funny it would be.
I would love to see the combo of we ban zones, and then we require a wiper or stringer per team, so that Rainmaker just becomes a sheer object damage
Yes.
measuring contest.
Wait, yes,
if you know what I mean.
turn Rainmaker into a nuke. Come on. So much fun.
What if everybody had a well string and nobody could pop the Rainmaker ever?
Well, you can't have duplicate weapons, right? Am I forgetting? You
Um,
only have like one weapon per class?
you can't
No?
double up the specials or subs. That
Okay,
got
so
improved. We have one required dually or umbrella per team, and we have, I think we have 3, right?
yeah, we have I think 4, no? Girl, I don't know.
Production, help. Production, are you there? Help. Oh, okay, good. we don't have that.
They just said the word no and was like, okay, cool. But yeah, my suggestion is to ban zones to watch people flounder and troll. So I think if you want a fun option, you can do that. Or if you are one of the teams playing, then I guess you can ban your worst mode, I guess. But where's the fun in that? This is for charity. We're trying to make a show here. Come on.
What if I want to see some more motivated sabotage of the other team?
Yes! Come on!
If you're fighting Hyrax lovers, you look at our poor Sage Rabbit junior player and you go, no lethal bombs allowed, actually.
Wait, no, that's devious! No, that's devious! That's so mean! I love it. We need more evil and mean and crooked decisions.
We're not playing. We're just hypothesizing about what people could do. Yeah, we're just...
Is this evil or is this neutral? I have no clue. I think it's...
I think if you're asking that question, then the D&D players would say the answer is chaotic stupid.
It's true, actually. It's so true. Okay, so one team is still on their first match, by the way.
What?
Or they're on their second match.
That's frightening. Don't say these things.
It's too late. I said these things.
Take it back. Unsay it.
And then I just like go reverse with my words, and then you're like, "Wow, Nell, how did you do that?" And I was like, "Don't worry about it."
That's so impressive. How can you enlighten us? Can you teach us?
No.
Yeah, it looks like we've got 2 matches still happening. Had a good number of 2-0s in round 3. But yeah.
Wow. Oh yeah, be sure to support the Extra Life campaign in support of children's hospitals. The link to donate is pinned in the chat, so if you click on that link, you'll be taken over to the Champlain College Esports little page for their Extra Life donations. If you want to help support, it's really appreciated. We've already raised up so much money today, just through these matches, and I mean, thank you to everybody who is supported so far, and thank you to everybody who is even just pondering supporting a little bit.
Yeah, Extra Life, we said it before, but it's worth saying again, is such a fantastic charity. They work with the Children's Miracle Network hospitals, and in their efforts, which again has gone back since I was an undergrad, so they've been doing this for years. They're real pros at this. They've raised over $142 million for these hospitals since they started out. And so much of that comes from these kinds of gaming charity contributions, right? You get to sign up. You get to pick your local children's hospital, set up your fundraising page, and then you get to play games. You stream your games, do your games in person if you're doing a physical sort of donation setup, and then all of the money you raise from that stream, from that event, goes to that children's hospital that you selected. So just really able to make sure that we can get these kids the joy while they're recovering. We can get them that medicine. We can get them these good facilities that they can start to recover in and just make their lives better.
For sure. And it is for a good cause. I mean, gamers, show your love, show your support. We really appreciate it. And thank you to everybody who has donated previously. But I mean, at the end of the day, we're here for charity if we're not here for watching Splatoon players suffer.
Yeah. I mean, some people would say, so maybe, I don't know who would say this. Some people, certainly not me.
Some people.
Playing the game in its vanilla state is plenty of suffering already. But, if you can add just a little bit more chaos to the mix, who's going to notice, right? It's anarchy, right? That's the theme of the game.
Wait, speaking of chaos, speaking of anarchy, wee woo, there's a new vote. Wee woo, there's a new vote. First gimmick of round 2. Which one are we going for? Only one of each main per team. One required wiper or stringer per team. No tacticooler allowed. All players must wear Splatfest tees. Or no lethal bombs allowed, which should be our first modifier. You can vote right now.
If you think about it, all players must wear Splatfest tees is probably banning Ninja Squid for most of these players.
Wait, that's so true. That's so true. It's all roads lead to banning Ninja Squid.
Not that anyone would vote for such a thing, but
No.
Ponder. Think about it.
I'm pondering. I'm thinking. I'm pondering. And honestly, I think that, in my personal opinion, I've kind of grown and I've matured. And I'm like, I think it's a lot more fun to... Not you saying, oh. No, I think it's more fun to kind of require teams to adjust their weapon pool. I think that's interesting to me. So one of each main per team could be interesting. One required wiper or stringer per team could also be interesting because, I mean, heck, if nobody plays that weapon, what do you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, is it only one of each main class or each main weapon? Do we know?
I was assuming it was class.
I assumed that as well, but I'm not entirely certain.
Well, I think we're allowed to assume in this instance. But yeah,
what if chat sues for all of our channel points? What then?
I mean,
I guess you just spent all of yours, so you're fine.
I have 100 channel points, so I could easily have another vote. Easily. However, I'm sure some of you out there in the audience have way more channel points than I do, if you're avid CCA watchers. I am an old person, and I never had the chance to participate in CCA. So yeah. Also, we did just get confirmation that it is only one of each main weapon class per team.
Wonderful. Wonderful, evil, devious, resplendent.
Nefarious.
Ooh, nefarious. That's a good word.
For sure. And I mean, currently it's looking like Splatfest tees are going to be required, which will throw a wrench in things. Like you said, once we get to tier 3 modifiers, and we are going to have to require Haunt or, this thermal ink on their shirts. Can I be so vulnerable and honest and say that I did used to run thermal ink, not clickbait, on my heavy build? This was back in 2022. Listen, I like thermal ink. It's okay. It's not a good perk, but it's kind of fun. Whatever, man. Whatever. Whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not bothered.
Well, it did just recently get that buff thanks to the health bars. So those effects giving a little bit more help to what some might call a weapon or gear ability that needed help. Some people might say that. Some people might.
Are the some people in the room with us right now?
Yes.
I mean, I'll be honest, it is a perk. I say perk. Oh my gosh, I'm so Dead by Daylight pilled right now. It is an ability that needs a lot of help. So it does need a lot of assistance in the current meta, unfortunately. I don't think that they're gonna buff it in the lifespan of Splatoon 3, but maybe in Splatoon 4 we'll see some use case. Who knows?
I don't think they should. Because
Really?
I don't want to deal with... Because, like, let's think about it, right? What could they buff? They're probably going to just make it so that you can see them in swim form. When they're in. I think
that'd be interesting. I think that would
Yeah, but have you considered thinking, right? You get hit by a slosher or a blaster or something. And now it doesn't matter. Now they can just see where you go, even though they're underneath the wall. I like that they have to guess before they kill me.
Well, I mean, this may be overpowered, but my thing with Thermal Ink is that maybe they could add an ability to where it kind of gives the point sensor effect. A little bit, just for a little bit. It doesn't have to be forever. It doesn't have to last as long as point sensor either. But I don't know. What do I know? I don't even play the game anymore. What do I know? I don't know much.
Clearly the solution is to bring back main power-up.
Clearly I think the solution is to bring back Seeker Rush.
Actually, wait, what am I talking about? I've blasphemed. What I'm talking about main power-up, and we could be bringing back Bomb Sniffer.
Wait, you're so freaking right. Bomb Sniffer is my goat. Bomb Sniffer is my goat. I miss Bomb Sniffer. Like, it wasn't good at all, but it was funny. I think there's a merit to things being bad but funny.
What is life if not a series of bad but funny events?
I mean, Thermal
Ink is connected?
I'll be honest.
Should I say that?
I was defending Thermal Ink, but it's not even funny. Like, Thermal Ink isn't even funny. It just is it's kind of bad. I don't know why I was defending it so hard. It's because of nostalgia. I'm nostalgia baiting my baby self who ran Thermal Ink for a little bit, so...
They changed Thermal Ink. It doesn't reveal anybody anymore. It just makes the opponent glow rainbow colors for 3 seconds.
That would be funny! See? That would be funny. Thermal Ink, but instead it reveals you. Like when you hit somebody, it just makes you glow.
That would be a really funny ability though. Like, you start the game, or I guess maybe it's just permanent. Otherwise, it's just opening gambit. But you give yourself like location for all the enemies. They just have Thermal Ink on you, but you start the game with Flow Aura.
Oh, interesting. Can I be so vulnerable and honest? I haven't played a match with Flow Aura. I don't even know what it does most of the time.
Oh my.
I'm washed, dude. I'm telling you, I'm so washed. I'm like, so washed. I'm like fresh out of the shower.
It's basically Tacticooler Light. So like, imagine Tacticooler, but it was balanced and didn't give you instant respawn or full special saver, and it was just movement abilities.
It's so interesting to me that they just saw Tacticooler and they're like, maybe we need a quality of life thing that does this. And so they just did that.
I think that's genuinely what happened because they wanted to reduce Tacticooler reliance.
Yeah, they were probably like looking at the numbers and they're like, yeah, maybe there's something here. And there was something there.
Yeah.
I've never entered the flow state, the flow aura, but it seems like it's fun.
It's really funny. I unfortunately don't get to experience it all that often as a backline player. My evil and ratty frontliners are always stealing my kills.
No, you're greedy frontliners. No.
I know. They
That's
have so many kills and assists already. They can't just let me have one. It's so...
back when I played comp and my number, I was playing Hedit and my numbers were like really inflated because of all my assists, and my frontline teammates would go to the app to see how many assists I got, and I was like, okay, can you guys let me have something? Can I have anything?
I love the matches where I go like 25 on pencil or something, and my frontliner's like, how did you outfrag me? And we pull up the app, and it's like 15 assists.
Yeah, it's like, leave me
I'm
alone. Anyways, we've been yapping way too much. We're already like about to start the next match. So we are in groups round 4, and I believe this is the final round before we get to brackets, which is really fun. So we are seeing 2 teams that we haven't seen before, the Squiddish Inquisition and Run Them Down. So I'm excited to see what these teams are going to pull out of their hats. I am not familiar with either of them, so let's see. We do see a Paintbrush. I know more and more people have been running Paintbrush recently, and lovely heavy edit. Mwah.
Yeah, so Run Them Down. This is just me spitballing here. I think they might want to play aggressive. What do you think?
If their name is any indication, I would believe it as well. I would believe it.
Well, we're going to have to see how well that works out for them here on Crab Leg Clams, which we've talked about it before. Clams is this very coordination reliant mode. So how fast can you move as a pickup when you're still trying to coordinate this much?
For sure, especially if you're in a draft tournament and you're being held captive by like 1,200 gimmicks that people in chat are making you do. Everything seems to be fine, though. We are seeing Salmon with the heavy edit pushing up, really clearing the way for their team, not giving a wipeout. We're going to be making a power clam quite quickly here. A lot of clams being held by that carbon roller. We are going to be getting the score down to 59. It's a very strong first push, all within the first minute, too. Run Them Down is going to have to back up here, really play for their life. Salmon is running for their life right now, just trying to avoid that chase. They are going to be getting chased a little bit back into their base, but it's not a lot. However, they are giving up a lot of terrain in order to be safe here.
Yeah, I'm a little... If I'm Run Them Down, I'm a little sad we only got to 59. Like, we're below 60, that's great, but we had full control of their basket there. I'm maybe wondering, like, did we get too aggro? Did we take a fight unknowingly? Like we probably could have gotten lower there. I wonder what happened.
For sure. I mean, they kind of went down one by one, and so they were forced to back out. I just feel like maybe they were taking like inopportune fights. I mean, however, we are gonna... Oh, those missiles are really difficult to avoid. However, we do have Tacticooler, the special of all time, so we are able to make something happen there. Mario with the flow state that we were talking about earlier that you very generously taught me about. We do have a power clam available, but we're gonna wait just a little bit to make sure our teammates are back and alive so that we can make a push. However, Mario's position is, out and about to everybody, and as a dualies, that's not really what you exactly want. However, look at the clam economy. There's like 18 on Run Them Down. It's really looking good for them.
Yeah, we're kind of just seeing some trades in mid, though. Oh, looks like the Rapid Pro is actually going to be able to get in there with that Paintbrush and use that AoE to just bring down, really punish Run Them Down for clumping up. And honestly, I'm a little surprised. Run Them Down seems a bit reliant on Cooler at the moment. Like, that's not a bad thing, right? But when we're playing around Cooler, we're certainly spending a lot of our time waiting and then regrouping. So I wonder if we could see maybe a little bit more freedom, a little bit more aggro. At the moment, we're just still scrapping in mid. Reef Slider's going to get one, though, so that is a delayed 3 down. But we're answering back from Run Them Down. Just so back and forth here, really.
Yeah, I mean, Run Them Down, despite having a pretty good lead for clams, they just seem to be in a state of stagger. It feels like somebody is always down at one point. It doesn't matter who it is. It just seems like they're in a staggered state, and they really, I mean, somebody on the team just kind of has to call regroup and just be like, play for life here. Just make sure that we're alive. And like you said, it does seem like there's a little bit of hesitancy here. Like, we are playing for Cooler, but we don't really know what we want to do. I mean, indecision is pretty dangerous in this game because things move so quickly. However, I mean, they still have the points lead. It just seems like the Squiddish Inquisition is not able to form a push of their own, even if they have, Run Them Down is making a lot of mistakes.
Now, well, here's the thing about that. They might not be able to be making a push right now. They only got that one clam in, but they do have this vanilla dread ringer. And that, of course, brings the reef slider with it. And, of course, in clams, reef slider cheese is not the mode du jour, but it's certainly a gimmick that you could throw out at the end here. We saw them able to build up 2 power clams before, and after that score, bringing them to 80, 2 power clams is all they need to take the lead for themselves here.
I mean, just with a few fumbles from Squiddish Inquisition, Run Them Down was able to, have a really strong foothold in mid with that tactical, where they are able to open the barrier and get through that penalty. But I don't think that they're going to be able to get anything more in substantial, which is really unfortunate. They kind of just, fed Squiddish Inquisition a little bit of a power clam, which is okay. It's okay with the amount of time that we have left. I'm not sure if they're able to do it, but I mean, we're really just going to be trying to see Run Them Down held a really good defensive position here if they want to keep their lead. Squiddish Inquisition, they don't really have the amount of clams available to make a play happen, but I mean, Salmon's the only one left alive. That was a delayed wipe from the side of Run Them Down, and this is a fantastic opportunity for Squiddish Inquisition to take the lead.
Wow. What a turnabout in overtime. And they didn't even need They didn't even need the Reef Slider cheese. The Reef Slider came in, got that kill, got the Dread Ringer in, and unfortunately, I think if that heavy edit was able to secure the kill on the Dread Ringer, we'd be looking at a very different situation here. But unfortunately, that one fight able to swing it in favor of the Squiddish Inquisition here. And sometimes that's all it comes down to. When you've got these long, drawn-out matches that are such really low scoring, right? It's these thinnest of margins that can swing it one way or the other.
For sure. I mean, I really liked seeing that retake from them. Well, not retake, but they made a few mistakes, but they were able to form a very strong foothold, and they were able to just... Well, actually, I'm so silly. It was a retake. I was thinking about Run Them Down. I'm so sorry.
You're all good.
Yeah, Squiddish Inquisition, they really took it back. They did a fantastic job at coordinating, and really just Run Them Down just didn't have as good of a defensive wall as they should have, unfortunately. But I mean, this is best of 3. There's still opportunities for them to get back in there.
Yeah, and you really can't blame them, right? The Reef Slider just has such great power to punch through a line. And say, okay, you're playing defense? Well, I hope one of you isn't in the wrong position right now.
For sure.
But yeah, it was really just such a close game. I'm looking forward to seeing this next round here. Would you happen to know, Nell, my friend, where are we going next?
We are going to Rainmaker on Scorch Gorge next, so that's going to be exciting. I'm curious if there's going to be some comp changes. I tend to like a backline here, but we didn't see that many backlines, so...
Yeah, Scorch, especially on Rainmaker, is a huge open pit, basically. So, we see the decav coming out here. And the Carbon Roller. Was that their last match? I don't think so, right?
I may have seen a Carbon Roller. I don't entirely recall. I don't think we've seen a lot of changes.
It was. I remember.
Yeah. So that is Run Them Down, and we haven't seen many changes from their comp, but we are seeing the Decavitator on the side of Squiddish Inquisition with the Dualies and the Rapid Pro. So I love a good Rapid Pro match. I think it's fun to play. It's not really fun to play against.
Yeah, and we do see a slight change here, moving from that vanilla Dreadringer to the Horns Dreadringer, using that crab output that we've seen put to such great effect by some other teams in this tournament so far. But Ty is going in, really pushing forward here, buying this space for Run Them Down, living up to their name a little bit here, as we see this Rainmaker pushing forward. Doesn't look like they're going to get to take the check here. That crab really well timed from the Squiddish Inquisition, able to just say, we don't want to deal with this right now. You guys hang out for a minute.
Yeah, it just feels like there was a desync between the Rainmaker carrier and the frontliners that were really pushing forward. I mean, there's always going to be a desync between Rainmaker and the front lines. We just have to be aware that sometimes Rainmaker is slow, and we can't really push too far forward with that. I mean, the thing is, it's kind of like tower control, but you're holding the tower. You know what I mean? So you get to decide when you move forward, and really, it really tests the team whether they're on the same page or not. And I mean, Squiddish Inquisition is doing a great job of playing defense here. They didn't really move the Rainmaker at all, and we're 2 minutes in, and it's only moved like 2 points. So, I mean, it's pretty snailmatey right now.
Yeah, I think we're seeing just a lot of trades happening in mid, though that's starting to break here with this wipeout from Squiddish Inquisition. Really, we've seen this Dreadringer and this Rapid Pro able to just use their AoEs in this area denial to put the kibosh on the aggro from Run Them In, and the Auriful Crab making its return yet again.
Oh my gosh.
Different player this time. Which, by the way, we're already halfway to a new crab. Can we talk about this weapon real quick? Absolutely insane.
I wanted to commend the Horns Dreadringer player. I believe their name was Sand. They had a fantastic triple just by playing an off angle with the crab, because they knew that everybody was just going to be staring at the choke. So really fantastic positioning from that player there. They really showed their knowledge of the map and where people are going to be looking, which I always love to see. I mean, it hurts when you're on the receiving end of that little crab, but goodness, it's great to see. I mean, I'm really astounded that we're seeing so many crab Dreadringers here, but honestly, I like to see it.
Yeah, and it looks like Mario's going to use this cooler here, try and take some trades of his own using that cooler to really just say, it doesn't matter if I trade, you're going to die, I'm going to respawn. But again, we just have another crab here that says you cannot move forward. Sand is really just absolutely stonewalling this every single push attempt that we see from Run Them Down here. I'd maybe like to see them. It's hard on Scorch. I know I'm asking a lot here, but someone should really try and take this Great Flank to really make the Squiddish Inquisition think twice about where they need this crab to look, right? Mm-hmm. If we're worried about someone coming up behind us, the crab might ball up. And that means we have some space, some breathing room to work with. But as I say that, we're actually just going to get a few kills out here on the side of Run Them Down. Hopefully trying to take back mid here, which is currently looking very orange.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been a dogfight pretty much this entire time. Also, off topic, but we are having a poll right now of the next gimmick, so be sure to put your votes in for the next gimmick if you want your voice to be heard or if you want to cause some torment for these players. But we are a minute left in the game, and Run Them Down is going to need a generational push if they're going to have to get the lead here. I would really like to see them, honestly, if they're able to displace that that rapid, maybe take the left flank. Who knows? But although the right is way more reliable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not a fan of pushing the Rainmaker over the grates in most scenarios, but at least sending someone that way to cause some chaos here. Speaking of chaos, finally Run Them Down, able to buy themselves some space here. The Zuka coming out up front, gonna miss that kill on the left. That might cost them later down the line. They're not able to get this kill. Another 2 down. They stop the flank. We could see it here.
We could see it here if we're able to run it just past the threshold. We need people in front of the Rainmaker right now, and they are able to take the lead. Wow.
Wow. Amazing.
Just by the skin of their teeth, Run Them Down was able to make it a 1-1 game. So that is a fantastic play over, I believe that was by Mario, a fantastic play. They really just kind of booked it. They're like, okay, let's go. Just super good showing.
That was fantastic. There's simply no other way to describe it. That was just do or die, and boy, they ran it down, didn't they? Run Them Down did.
Mm-hmm. They truly ran them down. And this is going to be the last match before we get into brackets. So this is going to be the last match of Swiss that we're going to be seeing. I'm on the edge of my seat. It's 1-1. Squiddish Inquisition has shown that they're an incredibly strong team, but Run Them Down has shown that they're scrappy and good in a pinch. So, I mean, it's really up to anybody. Is there, reliability? Will that triumph? Or will just, in the heat of the moment, making good plays triumph? We won't know until we're able to see it. And after this, we are going over to Tower on Hagglefish.
Tower Hagglefish. Interesting. So, Tower Hagglefish, I think, is a very... I already said interesting, but I'm going to say it again. It's a super interesting map because you move from mid, which is full of these open sight lines with very little cover to work with, into, as you're pushing deeper and deeper into the enemy spawn, so much cover starts to pop up. There's a covered flank on the far side with the elbow. You've got to control that. You can only get there by making that jump from the tower itself. They've got this whole top area that's very hard to contest without some sort of AoE weapon like a roller or a blaster or a bucket. So it'll be interesting to see how these teams adapt to that change in terrain with their own plays, who they're going to send where. And that's a big pick first. Sand, we saw it putting in so much work in that last game, going to go down early to a bomb.
Really, really plucky play over by the carbon roller because they were tagged. Everybody saw their location, but they're like, I'm still gonna go for this pick anyways. Love to see that. It's just trade after trade, to be honest. Average early game. A lot of missiles on the board from the side of Run Them Down, trying to just displace everybody on the side of Squiddish Inquisition here. Tower is still pretty neutral. Run Them Down is in charge of the tower right now, and 3 down from Squiddish Inquisition. It's really not looking good here. That's a delayed wipe. Pretty much just guarantee that Run Them Down is going to be getting that checkpoint for free. We are going to be needing to see some people from Run Them Down go to the top right and really secure that position. If we're not seeing that, then I mean, it's really no guarantee how long this push is going to last.
Well, the thing they do have going in their favor is that beautiful cooler timing. As soon as they stabilized that push off of the wipe, the cooler went down, which means they could just send it forward. And we're seeing the results of that here. They did lose a lot of players as they were making that initial push, but the cooler's able to let them come back, and now they are strongly pushing up through ramp here. And another time Santa's going to go down here. That means no crab as we're pushing into the last check.
Oh, the wipeout is just so devastating for Squiddish Inquisition. It's really tough to see. It's pretty much nothing can stop this push now. And that's it. That was basically a speedrun game. Oh my goodness, that was so fast. Just look at the map. Everything's blue.
Yeah, Run Them Down. Maybe had to get their engine started with game 1, but we really saw by the end of game 2 that desperate push got them in the perfect mind state to just send it fully this time. And you know, maybe there were some mistakes on the side of Squiddish Inquisition, but it's really hard to fault that aggro gameplay we saw in that last match from Run Them Down. Able to take advantage of any small positioning mistake, any slight slip up that the Squiddish Inquisition had. But wow, what a match.
Right, and I mean, that was a fantastic showing from Run Them Down, and I believe, let me double check the bracket here. It looks like Run Them Down is going to be headed over to Gold Bracket now, so a fantastic showing for them. We're going to be seeing more of them in Gold Bracket shortly. While I'm here, I will say we have a current poll. This one is a little bit different. It's going to be like, which gimmick is being removed? So if there's an old gimmick that you're not really fond of, think it's not needed to make room for new ones, let us know in the poll, so be sure to vote for that.
Yes, make sure to make good on all of the good that you guys are doing, getting those donations in, opening up these newer and newer slots here for our tournament. It's really just such an amazing cause. I keep saying it over and over, but such a great cause. Keep those donations coming in as we have you guys move over to bracket. Unfortunately, it won't be with us. So sad.
No. I think we had a lot of fun, though, Okamu. It was really fun commentating with you. I hope that we're able to do it more in the future.
Yeah, this was great. So good to commentate with you. Nell, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Blue Sky at NELLfire with a 1. However, it's spelled down below my little PNG. That's where you can find me. But Okamu, where can we find you?
Same place, Blue Sky, or just message me on Discord. Honestly, it's all the same. But wow, what a great block. Thank you guys all for all your donations, for hanging out with us. Keep those donations coming, and we will see you guys back for bracket. Bye.
Bye.
Welcome back, everyone, for Gold Bracket here for Deep Sea Student Exchange. My name is Smolie, and with me, I have Intense Microwave. We're going to be the commentators for the gold bracket. And I believe we're starting off with semis here instead of semis or quarters. We're doing semis. Okay. And we're going to be starting off with a team we haven't seen yet, which is AoE Opportunities versus Hyrax Slumpers. I personally have friends on both teams, so I'm super excited how both of these teams are going to be playing. Do you have any opinions on either of these teams?
I personally don't really know these guys rather well. I'm looking for the bracket on Sendu so I can get a good sort of see if I can get some background information on them. This is Run Them Down versus Squiddish.
Oh.
Inquisition. I don't really know many of the people here, but looking at a few empty profiles, maybe just one. Looks like we have some pretty normal looking weapons. We could be seeing a Bambrella though. E- could be pulling out something interesting for us.
Ooh. Yeah, as we saw, Run Them Down previously was on the stream a bit earlier, and we saw that Mario and Ty TV are pretty aggressive players, as Ty is a Carbon Roller player. So bringing that back, we saw them go super crazy on a Hagglefish TC game and just get like an intense wipeout. So that's pretty exciting to see how they're going to be playing on this next map that is Splat Zone's Umami. So I'm wondering how the Carbon Roller is going to be doing, especially on a map that is really great to combat it.
Yeah, I would know a thing or two about intensity though. I think that Carbon Roller in this case could actually work pretty well on Umami zones. You got top mid to play off of, you got some maybe one or two Legends peak, and popping Zuka on Dome, that's perfect. Just want to get rid of those blinders right away.
Mm-hmm. And we do have a current active list of gimmicks as well. So we're excited to see which of those get pulled out. And at the moment, it's looking like each special weapon per team is only going to have one. Only one player is allowed to run, and it's looking like we're going to be starting off.
All right, let's get right into this. We're seeing some grabs, some coolers. It's some kind of like somewhat normal-ish looking comp, sort of adjacent things. The yellow team and the blue team aren't actually swimming that fast into mid, and we'll have to just take the fight there. Seems like yellow is trying to peek for top mid, but blue already has it. The Squiddish Inquisition is really holding that ground well, and it looks like they're going to win opening off of this.
Yeah, granted, the Squiddish Inquisition has no backline at the moment other than just a Rapid Blaster. They are holding down mid with this crab super well and just getting a double with the crab and pointing out that there is somebody on Dome and just pointing out where the Carbon is with that line marker. They are getting a really good luck out here on Run Them Down.
But the Carbon Zuka comes out, and it does take out that Dread. This is the opening that they need to get back into the game. There's 2 down on Inquisition. Can this Carbon run up and catch the jumps? Or just prevent them from coming in the first place? That is almost the perfect Carbon dive. Just one barely whiff. You hate to see it. And the Inquisition just keeps on holding this top mid. Looks like Run Them Down needs to run down top mid with something.
Yeah, Run Them Down had a chance to stall zone, but they didn't manage to cap both sides, so Inquisition didn't get any penalty points from each zone not being capped. And Run Them Down is currently going through mid. I wonder if the Carbon's going to get a sneaky pick here. Does, and then currently just runs away because of these whales. And with this stamp, they might be able to get in and stop the blaster from currently kind of catching them. But again, gets wiped out by a decav.
But it looks like Run Them Down is starting to just barely get into positions that they can use. This high ground should really help the Carbon kills, but they unfortunately can't quite find one. And Squiddish Inquisition, they're starting to get back in, but this headache could hold for some good jumps or some good space. And it's just going to be a little mixed in mid. No one really has control of the space because everyone's got someone in an annoying spot. The cooler comes out, the hand starts running, and it looks like Run Them Down is going to leave this engagement with the advantage.
Yeah, Run Them Down unfortunately did go 2 down against the decaf, but because they have cooler, they were immediately right back in, which is the disadvantage for Squiddish Inquisition. And Thai TV getting a really nice pick with the Zuka and then just going crazy with the horizontal slashes. What does get shut down by the Rapid, but Run Them Down has the mid advantage. They're throwing Stamp as fast as possible. I'm excited to see this crab come out and probably get some pretty good picks here, as they are in the lead at the moment.
Ironically, Run Them Down wasn't quite running them down, trying to just hold mid for the KO with their crab tank, so they kind of lose out on that space that they could have gotten. Now losing 2 teammates for it. They'll probably lose the zone to this Dread as well. They just kind of have to kite and hope that they can get their players back into good positions. It looks like they're starting to get to that spot, though, that they need to retake mid. Meanwhile, Squiddish Inquisition, loving that Dread Ring, just always putting them on top mid to hit either side of the zone, and they're just kind of holding in, kind of scuffing in mid for a bit.
Yeah, that Dread is currently doing a lot of work on the left side of zone here, just trying to cap the zone as fast as possible, but they do have a crab ready so they can at least Run Them Down back while Inquisition is coming back as well. And it's looking like they're getting really well. Trips gets a nice overhead peak kill on Run Them Down here. Thai TV is a bit in a pickle here because there's not enough turf for him to move around, and is currently getting called out by the Rapid Blaster as well. So it's gonna be, yeah.
After living the impossible, this Carbon Roller is just going in. They're gonna have to get this Zuka. Rest in peace, my grandma! There goes the bazooka! We're getting some pushing right back into mid, and they're just gonna flip the zone right before the lead swaps. 1 minute left, and with a 60-minute penalty, but they don't really care. They have the lead, they can hold this win, and Tiny V is just gonna keep on going in! When will the Reign of Terror be stopped? Right then. But they have the space. Run Them Down could win this.
Yeah, Run Them Down is currently pushing up as much as they can. Mario trying to get a pick on the decaf, gets it, and is going to be trying to call out this Rapid as well. With the crab in the pocket, oh yeah, he's staging up for something really good here. Just so they can keep this advantage as fast as possible, and at least just make sure they can even get, not even get into overtime, but the Squiddish Inquisition is coming back with that decaf running in on the carbon, gets it. They still have to fight for the mid spine here, just so they can cap the zone. But they still have essentially 50 points to get through, and Run Them Down has the numbers advantage. Well, not anymore. I lied, but they still have one of the zones capped. So, oh my gosh,
Zuka double.
Okay,
It
the
cleaned the
Zuka
match.
double immediately just slapped down any possible chance Squiddish Inquisition had to even go into overtime.
That was actually a really great match to start it out on. So back and forth. There was occasional missed opportunities. No one really got into the enemy spawn, but they proved that they didn't really need to. From using crab tanks, dread ringers, rapid pro, they were able to put a lot of pressure with just kind of staying in mid. I think that's pretty interesting in it of itself.
Mm-hmm. And it is looking like the polls are up if anyone in chat wants to go and vote to see what the next gimmick is going to be, which I'm super excited about. And at the moment, it's looking like No Cooler Allowed is going to be winning, but we'll see how the gimmick polls do end up going. But it's looking like a strong hate towards No Cooler Allowed. So that might be a bit of a trouble for Run Them Down, who has an edit player who is running and throwing down as much coolers as possible. So Thai TV could go back in as fast as possible just to get those really good picks on their front lines.
Think about trying to make a gimmick the gimmick that's most disruptive. We have to think about their comps. Ninja Squid being banned? I don't know if exactly they were using Ninja Squid. Maybe the Carbon, but not that many players in that game were using Ninja Squid. One main weapon per class? They were already kind of doing that in the first place. No Cooler Allowed takes off a really big part of both comps. No lethal bombs? I guess that one would also be rather effective, but it seems like chat wants to see the coolerless gameplay, which I think a lot of people are just sick and tired of seeing that cool every day of the year. So that's very fair.
Yeah, as recently I've been commentating on a lot of low-level tournaments, we're seeing less and less coolers happening, which is super fun and exciting to see, because it makes some really cool opportunities for backline comps to kind of mix and match where they want to play with different weapons. I've been seeing bow come back, which I love. I love bows coming back. It's so fun to see with chips, and we are going to be starting off with Clam Blitz coming back.
Blitz Ink Blot. This is a toughie of a map. I've always personally struggled figuring out how to fight in mid, but we'll see what comps they use without Cooler. Wait, is it without Cooler?
Might be for the next round.
It is likely for the next round, since they are using a heavy edit splattling, which is known for having Tacticooler. And also, we have some Splatfesties in the match, I am just recognizing, but that's okay. You know, if you have one of each ability, it's actually more efficient. 3 different abilities. We see some pretty scrappy fighting. They're just kind of running in and grabbing the clams like it's coin runners from Mario Kart. We're seeing some picks. Whoa! This is now how you play an
As we
open
see
thing.
Mario doing some crazy Mario Kart skills here, getting a double, then immediately popping crab just so their teammates can come back in and just get a massive lead point here, and then just dipping because they don't have enough advantage here. But you know what? Mario says, I'm a dualies. I can run around anywhere I want just to get more extra points, and leading it down to 18 with it just being game like less than a minute in. And okay, if that stamper comes in, this is going to be a KO. But it's looking like they might get shut down.
What's
Yeah, they
happening
get
that?
KO'd.
Oh my god.
Gosh. Okay, Mario with the
no.
early triple at the beginning, just immediately wiping the Squiddish Inquisition out of commission here. Wow.
Can we call that a coolerless match? Can we consider that match being coolerless because they didn't even like have a chance to use Tacticooler? I think it was a coolerless match. I think it counts.
It was pretty coolerless, as it was just Mario destroying everyone with those dualies and then immediately popping crab just so you could get another ball in, and immediately getting a first pick when somebody drops off of court is beautiful. Absolute cinema off of Mario here.
Absolute cinema is what I'm saying. That was such a clean play around mid. Little unfortunate that the other team couldn't quite find their footing, but it'll happen in Splatoon. Keeps you on your toes about stuff like that happening.
Okay, yeah, that was a crazy set. It's 70-second clams game, by the way. Super. I'm gonna have to say GG's to Mario, as he's a good friend of mine, but that was an absolute great game to lead, I believe, into semis here, as that is the end of this game.
The simple best of 3. We will be going on to those next sets. We're going to take a little peek at who we're expecting to play in semis.
We have Quarter Flounder with Cheese. Beautiful name, by the way. Oh, wait, semis. I'm reading the wrong group, guys. I'm so smart.
Yeah. Which one are we looking at?
It's AoE Opportunists and Hyrax Lovers. I may be a bit blind, but I know both teams. It's okay. AoE Opportunists, I believe, have not been seen on stream before, so I'm super excited to see how they're going to be playing out. And it is looking like it's going to be no cooler as well for this set.
No, it's this set that is no cooler. That makes sense. Now I'm just taking a peek at our weapons. I'm seeing some sort of average things. I see like a stamper, I see a bow. Bow has been rising. I'm going to consider bow closer to what the average comp is. You know, you're leaving the off-meta territory. Where is your mid-tier advantage if you're starting to get played this much more? But it looks like we might see some more standard equivalent comps, but maybe with some more spicy weapons in particular. Just doing a quick background check on each team member.
Yeah, a good friend, Jesse, is a bow main and is absolutely crazy with anything that has jetpacks on, like, included in them, like in the set. And seeing how they're going to be paired with a blaster player named Peace, it's going to be really fun how they're going to be able to kind of just lead each other off with chips and see if they can get some really good picks, especially on the map of TC Ship Shape, since that's going to be really great, like, wall camping opportunities for Peace to get in with a blaster.
We might see some longer range on this map. I've always thought that there's some really good long range positions, especially around that first checkpoint area. You get a bow there. They can rain fire onto the enemy team from basically anywhere they can try and get back in. Maybe we'll see something like a pencil or a charger of sorts from the enemy team as a reaction, maybe if they are aware of the bow. But I mean, I'm going to be honest, I'm never looking at the enemy team's weapons when I'm playing my tournaments and Ludi sets, so maybe they're not thinking 2 steps ahead like that. They'll just probably feel it out on the first match. It is best of 5. They got a little more time to get the download.
Yeah, especially since both of these teams do play a bit more aggressively. I've seen Tacos play in real life. Bro is an absolute menace with any weapon that they play. So I'm wondering who's just going to be the more aggressive player here, especially since ship shape can be so snowbally, especially on that first checkpoint, because there's so many special usages that can come out that can immediately just push back a team as far as possible.
Like we're getting into the match. We finally get to see all this theory come to play when we get to our comps. We get a bow blaster bucket for a lot of fighting, and a machine flingza. There's these comps. They're polar opposites. We're taking a large amount of fights on AoE opportunities, but Hyrax lovers, they're going to be trying to slow down the game with their machine and Junior. We're going to see some pretty slow opening as a result from Hyrax, and AoE, they're already jumping on tower, or trying to jump on tower at least.
Yeah, it's looking like Hyrax goes 2 down already as Peace is already in on right side, trying to get a pick just so they can get in. The jetpack comes about from Jesse here. Stamp comes out, but it immediately just gets shut down. So AoE is just already at first checkpoint, not even half a minute in, and they're just immediately going through as fast as possible. Jesse on the tower, just getting early chip picks and just building up for another jetpack as they're going to be probably playing that out pretty soon. Peace underneath, just getting early picks as well and stopping anything from stopping Jesse to getting in. But there is, unfortunately, okay, I was gonna say they might have to get pushed back here, but Peace just got a double and immediately they're probably just back in the system.
It seemed like they were preserving life at one point. They were like almost in a knockup position, but they decided to move backwards. And this is what is giving Hyrax the opportunity to walk back on their plat, get a random Zuka snipe, and just kind of slow but surely push right back into the map. I don't honestly agree entirely with trying to preserve life in such a short-range aggressive comp, but jumping out there was quite the right play in my mind. We're seeing some slow and steady pushing from the Hyrax lovers, exactly what they're looking for, but their Flingza might not be able to get the long-range crossfire to deal with that bow. We'll see though.
Yeah, Taco's there and got a really nice pick with the Stamp here. Is getting another nice pick with Stamp and probably just gonna get stopped here immediately by the jetpack that comes out. And Jesse's looking for another pick as fast as possible, even to just push them off of the elbow here, which he does. And gets another pick because of the chip that Bo has. And that is a immediate stop for Hyrax lovers, and they have to get set back up with specials here because they are 2 down.
AoE opportunists have the advantage. That bucket bow blaster is just to keep Hyrax lovers from taking any sneaky positions. They gotta be really fair and honest with how they push in against these dirty cheater weapons like Blaster. It's pretty interesting to see what they have to do, but they're just getting cleaned up by an inkjet bucket combo. Here comes a splashdown, just denying even more space, and AoE opportunists, they're actually going to be able to start moving the tower again.
Yeah, it's looking like AoE is getting back into court here. They have 2 specials down, and they do throw out the ink strikes here just so they can clear off right side so Peace can get in and get a pick. And it might get killed out here by Tacos trying to get a cheeky pick, but unfortunately gets shut down. Jesse has to do Jet here just so they can protect themselves, and they might have to leave immediately just so they can live.
Our Viper flank really just did prevent a potential KO push. Being back in the good positions despite all these AoEs going out. We're going to see a good Ultra Stamp drop, but gets directed by a Blaster. And that's 2 down! It's going to go right back in AoE opportunist's favor. They just have to take this chance to either push or just try and stall out even more resources, which it looks like they're doing the latter.
Yeah, it's looking like AoE is just trying to get a little bit more paint up just so Peace can be a bit more proactive here. And does stop the stamp once again, and that is 2 down for Hyrax lovers. And Peace does get a nice trade here. So it's just the junior that is on the tower and unfortunately has to back up just so they can preserve life here and possibly get another push down. But during that time, AoE is going back in super headstrong and pushing as far as they can with ink strikes in their pocket.
Seems like Hyrax Lovers is really just trying to get their feet together, except all on their own. The Viper takes a good trade and almost gets a second. But the rest of Hyrax Lovers are just trying to bunker down and just prevent the KO. It seems like there's a little disconnect, but they'll be able to work it out on this next respawn wave. Like they'll have to do something about this first checkpoint. This 10 middles is likely their key to victory. The bubble comes out incredibly early from Hyrax Lovers. This could be potentially the end, and the missiles go down too. It's going to be a hard comeback if they can even make it happen.
Yeah, a nice pick on Tacos here, who might have been trying to do the same thing as before with a pick from the pit area, but gets called out by the Jet and Bucket underneath, which shut down that opportunity to possibly even get a pushback in with only 6 seconds left and all people up on AoE. I'm pretty sure this is going to be game on the side for AoE opportunists.
Oh. And... Ooh, what is going on? Been muted by the director? Oh.
I don't think so. It was a really nice game here, seeing how both teams kind of were messing around with first checkpoint at the beginning, but then AoE opportunists just came right in with the chip comp, and Peace getting some really nice picks and directs on the Stamper that kept on trying to just solo target them, which immediately just shut down any possible chance for Hyrax Lovers to even get past first checkpoint. And it is looking like Splat Zones here is going to be the next mode on Robo Ramen, which is one of my favorites personally as a backline and support player. So I'm really loving how probably Jesse is going to be running around on that bow.
And yeah, the Tri-Stringer will be very good on that map, and we're going to start getting into the match.
And it is looking like the same comp coming out for AoE Opportunists. I wonder if there is going to be a change comp for Hyrax, which unfortunately is kind of just the same comp for both teams, as they are pretty limited to seeing how they can't have a cooler comp. But it's looking like Jesse is already coming in on glass here, just so they can probably have the paint advantage here, just to cap zone as fast as possible. With Peace already trying to get some peeks in on the glass side, and Sneaky just trying to build up first strikes as fast as possible.
AoE Opportunists taking a very aggressive start on this map, getting 2 kills with the Slosher before I can even say any more about how good they're playing this opening. And just jumping back in to continue holding aggression. Will they be able to fight into this Viper? Will they let it try to force it back out and they just hold these incredible positions? So it's likely on line to get some kills.
It's looking like Sneaky and Peace are just constantly switching back and forth just so they can disorientate Hyrax Lovers here. And while Hyrax has some specials, they still have 3 already on the side of AoE, which a stamp does come out, but they still have strikes even if they try to get past elbow here. And it's looking like Sneaky is gonna be trying to stop anything from happening, which they're gonna get another knockdown here because Sneaky is just getting a double after double, and that's immediately another game to AoE with the amount of chip, and they really are just their name as AoE is kind of going crazy here with so many chip comp weapons that they're just immediately knocking out the other team.
Yeah, they just know exactly what to do on this map, exactly how far they need to push to mid to start getting kills, exactly how many double kills they need to just randomly get to have stuff start working, and it all just clicked right into place.
Yeah, it's... Oh, go ahead.
Couldn't quite find their footing, but...
Yeah, it just seemed like Hyrax here was kind of constantly just dropping without a possible opportunity before they could build up specials, which unfortunately they did need because the amount of chip comps that they were getting underneath, because they were constantly just dropping, it was just leading to so many just scrambling opportunities that AoE was just picking up with that and just hitting the ground running with the amount of specials that they were constantly building because of the deaths they were getting. And it was just incredibly hard for Hyrax to possibly even get back to their elbow here just so they could even try to contest mid.
Yeah. It's a very dominant map for Bow, very dominant map for AoE, just because there's such little cover in the map that one AoE weapon is probably going to be a lot for you. If you're taking a whole opportunity to run as many AoE weapons as possible, I mean, you can take advantage of that. Maybe it's time for Hyrax levels to find a very strong line of sight weapon to try and laser beam the AoE weapons and outrange them by killing that blaster. We might see some comp adaptations, or maybe adaptations how to play, because they're going to have to get a reverse to bring this back and stay in the tournament.
Yeah, and it is looking like the next map here will be Crab Lake Capital Clams, which is one of my favorite clam games since it's so fun to even just do some cheeky little like flanks here as somebody who plays with a carbon, that there's so many times that they can just get some really nice flicks and just stall out this basket as fast as possible, because once you have that lockout and with special advantage here, you can probably have a really clean wipeout, just like how we saw in the previous match with Mario, who got a really nice triple and just immediately got a 70-second clams game, which is really crazy to see, especially in gold bracket here. So I'm really wondering how both of these teams are going to be playing out, since it's looking like AoE is definitely more on the chip comp instead of just more aggressive. And it
Seems
is
like
looking
we
like
have a pretty good opening. We are looking at just some fanned out ace opportunists. They're going to be trying to take those early fights again, pushing the line pretty far forward. And we're just going to see some good fighting.
Yeah, it looks like Tacos here, instead of going back to Stamp, decided to go to 52 just so they could possibly get a little bit more chip here with the Flingza, but it's looking like they already get slapped down here, and they have a Stamp still, but it is looking like the 52 Gal is going to play a bit more aggressively and possibly add a bit more protection with these walls here. And it's looking like AoE already has a ball and is going to get a nice little pick on the Stamp, getting 2 down, and they are going forward as fast as possible with the Jet coming out and making sure they can get another pick as fast as possible. And the Stamp coming in and strikes, it's a whole like crazy thing, but they missed the basket!
That's not a ball, that's a torpedo, and oh no. The push was really good though. If they could do it once, they could definitely do it again. It's just they'll have to remake that ball and with the space that they have. It looks like they can definitely do that. But Hyrax trying to make their push back in, looking for some damage, looking for a missile push likely. Let's see how they really react to ace opportunists holding mid.
Yeah, AoE definitely has a really nice mid advantage here, but with that jump, it gets called out by Tacos, and with that 2-hit combo, it just immediately shut them down. 2 people grouped up on the left, Tacos gets another pick here, and Hyrax is having the mid advantage here, but is getting low-key attacked by the Jet here and gets killed by it because Jesse just loves those Jets as much as possible. And it's looking like mid advantage is going back to AoE here as they are trying to push, then get that nice pick, but they don't have the ball like economy just to build another ball here. So they're scrambling to get one, and maybe with another push they can get another nice pick here. With the strikes coming out, they can hopefully get the basket open once again.
Oh, with the Splat Bomb stalling this push, this Junior's doing a great job of trying to slow down whatever AoE is trying to do, but the Jet comes out. This could be a really good swing, and we just need one person to go back and get some clams, and they can extend this to a pretty big lead.
Yeah, it's looking like Jesse is coming in, but unfortunately the basket does get closed because they unfortunately are getting picked out by this Viper as much as possible. That guy is out for blood, even going into base here with the stamp, and gets a nice little pick here, and then is just trying to run away as fast as possible. And that is a nice push for Hyrax lovers here, but they still need so much more claims to even get down to 50 here.
They have 13 clams in the bank. If they can score all these, it's definitely going to get to the lead, and so it does. We got the Viper just running into spawn. This is what we need to see from more Vipers. Even though they died, they still put on a lot of pressure to help Hyrax continue getting to 32. And with that, the push is over, but Hyrax, they have a little bit of control in mid still that they can use to slow down anything AoE is going to try and use. Yeah, they can chase down more kills and play the neutral.
Yeah, it's looking like Jesse, unfortunately, did go down a bit too soon, but with that control, with the Jet coming out, it's going to be able to push Peace in as fast as possible, but does get shut down. But they still have the mid advantage here, but we see that Stamper once again being super aggressive and getting some really just going for it as fast as possible. And with these missiles, it's going to be really hard for them to kind of control mid here as they get pushed out.
We're going to be seeing some defense from AoE opportunists. They're just trying to hold things together while they can get more clams, but it looks like Hyrax Lovers is actually hitting their stride this match. And getting that download on the enemy team really likely helped them figure out exactly what to do. They found their speed, and now they're moving in. See if they can continue this into a push, but, I mean, AoE opportunists, they gotta get their own push, though.
Yeah, it's looking like the Stamper is getting some really nice picks here, and with the 52 getting controlled by Tacos, the Blaster's having a bit of a hard job getting some picks because of that wall. But as I say that, Peace does get a nice 2-pick, and they get that jump in, but unfortunately Tacos calls it out, and that is a last push that gets canceled by Hyrax. And Tacos is already in, gets a really nice pick. And they don't have the claim advantage, but they do have the mid advantage. So even with overtime here, AoE has a long way to go before they can even get into mid.
It could be very hard to make happen because the ball was barely even moving. You have to move that ball in the mid before the overtime clock starts because they really don't give you any time to get that ball in. Look, we're already halfway through overtime. We need a quick few picks on Hyrax, but that's just not happening. All the 52 running in and getting a kill, and that is game.
Yeah, really well done here by Hyrax Lovers, getting some really nice picks and then just constantly holding the basket in while they were able to get some more points. That Stamper was doing some God's work while that basket was open, just constantly being super aggressive and pushing back the bow, so the Blaster couldn't have that chip advantage on their side. And with Taco switching to 52, with those whales to displace Jesse on the grates here, immediately got them more position advantage because that bow and Blaster getting out of positions because of the wall and whale was just great to see as they were using that to their advantage.
Definitely that 52 player was able to give AoE opportunists a run for their money, being able to just out DPS the AoE. I don't care that you can hit me from behind the wall. I'm running straight at you. No walls between us. Nothing to stop me from just steamrolling through some AoE weapons. But now, Hyrax, they have to fight a disadvantage. They have to win 2 more games in a row or the reverse sweep. It seems like they could definitely make it happen, but we'll have to see going into these next matches.
Yeah, looking as Rainmaker Manta Maria is coming up, I'm really wondering if that Stamper is going to keep that super aggressive motto going around, because if they can get around on left flank here and just disrupt Jesse on the top of bats and grades, that could be a really great opportunity for Hyrax lovers to get a really nice push on either side. Honestly, once that bow goes down, that is a really great opportunity for any of Hyrax to go in with the wiper and just cause some chaos.
That win condition is definitely going to be about trying to disrupt what AoE opportunists are trying to take advantage of. They're trying to get all these chip combos set up. They're trying to set up all these unique things. But if we can disrupt them with that 52 gal, with that wiper, that is what's going to really cause them to win the game here. It's just all about getting into those angles and working those places, which Manta, it could be a pretty enclosed and tight map, so it might be difficult to see at times. Difficult to get to that bow, difficult to get into them, but we'll have to see what they do in this match.
Looking like AoE here sticks with their same comfortable comp, but we see the same comp on both teams actually. So it's more so just the fact of who's going to get this pop, because both don't really have that much bomb advantage here. So it's going to be a pretty slow game of who can get the pop first, the bow or the gal. And it's looking like Hyrax does get the pop because the gal goes crazy. And they do have mid advantage here, but is getting constantly called out by torpedoes at the moment. And Peace gets a double here, and they are pushing up as fast as possible just so they can get the points on the board. Goes to right side, but is getting called out by the stamp here, and that might be a little bit of a shutdown for AoE here.
Likely the complete end of AoE's first push, but a pretty valiant first push at that end. Dropping an Inkvine, almost getting another crush kill. Penguin is cleaning up all that is left of AoE opportunists. We're going to see something swinging into the advantage of Hyrax.
Yeah, Hyrax is definitely having the more paint advantage here, as we see that Flingza does great on this map just for paint coverage, and with the missiles to call out where people are going. We see that all of them are on the right side, so we see Sage here immediately just going for check and gets it because nobody was there to defend it. And we see Peace trying to get a pick, but the junior just going as fast as possible. And does lift through that ball, and it's looking like they're just going for points as fast as possible here. But does get unfortunately called out by the bow.
Quite find the feet paint. They weren't able to move because they were just stunned by the amount of paint the bow is putting down. And this is a push to the 41, something you could stall for a victory, but there's still plenty of opportunity, especially with how they play, for AoE just to swing back a crazy lead.
Yeah, seeing how both of these teams play, we definitely can tell that this is probably going to be more of a closer game towards who can get Stamp Bite. Hello. So it's looking like Stamp does get a really nice pick and cleans up the hallway here. Gets slapped in the face by the Flingza player here. So Hyrax Lovers is once again in the advantage here as mid is fully blue at the moment. And the whales come out just to push back any living person alive on AoE. And they're once again going to the right side just so they could possibly get some more point advantage.
It's strange to see such high preference for the right side, but it makes sense when you consider that the enemy team has a bow. They're going to opt to keep on trying to push the Rainmaker, only having two frontliners to hold back the enemy team, but this could actually finally be it. If the Rainmaker can get its feet painted and get a path painted for itself, this could be big points if they drop it over that ledge. But unfortunately that doesn't happen. 35 is a great extension of the lead, much more safely past any of those checkpoints that AoE opportunists would like the Rainmaker to be closer to, so they can get more clutch leads, but looks like they're going to have to reset the mid.
Yeah, that's Stamp trying to get on a nice pick here, but it's looking like I kind of just manifested where the Stamp goes in on the right side and gets a flank on the bow, which is leading them to be at a disadvantage, and the Stamp gets another one, and it's looking like they're just going in for a very fast advantage here. That bow is in position and is ready to fight, and I see that Stamp probably coming in and getting thrown at the bow, which it does, and gets shut down, which is 8 points left. Is this going to be a knockout, or is it just going to be more of a scrappy fight? And they win. This might be a reverse sweep.
A clean swipe. That Viper multi-kill just cleaned up so much. That's exactly what I was talking about before the set. The disruption. That's exactly what they need to do, to get in on these angles, which is why taking the Rainmaker to that right side was such a good option. And it just all clicked together when the Wiper just got on a kill streak. That stamp throw, that quick Rainmaker swipe, it just kind of sealed the deal. And now we're tied.
Yeah, this is going to be probably a nail biter here for the final game here. But I'm really just happy that I manifested that stamper at the end, going to right side and getting a nice pick on the bow here, and then just immediately going forwards just so they could get even more picks so that Rainmaker could go as fast as possible. And it was just like a cherry on top of a piece of cake when we see that stamp go right back in with a stamp throw to the bow once again, shutting it down once again. So Jesse just had no chance at the end to even help their team.
Yeah, I think, do you have a crystal ball over there, or do we just have commentator's blessing? Quite the opposite of the commonly talked about commentator's curse, where we just have the ability to see the future for some reason. I mean, what? Who said that? We don't have these strange supernatural powers. No, don't worry about that. Just focus on the game. It's very interesting.
Oh, this is also going to be really fun here, as both teams might have some really fun moments here, as it is going to be TC Museum. So that's going to be some really fun opportunities for both teams to even drop on the right side on these little pit areas so they could get a nice cheeky pick on either the bow or the Flingza here. It's just honestly who gets the most paint advantage here in mid, so the first more aggro frontline can get a pick.
It's a pretty wide map as well. There's a lot of room in mid for weapons to move around. This might be pretty good for AoE opportunists to sneak a blaster around these corners. We see ourselves getting right into the match. Are we going to see any comp adjustments? No, from AoE, and no from Hyrax. Just sticking to our guns of what we know, and we're just going to have to just run it down. And we see AoE takes a double right drop, and Hyrax doesn't do anything of the sort.
But we see that piece does go down, and that is looking like a really nice beginning start for Hyrax here as the Stamper goes down. And Hyrax here is definitely in the lead for the most turf advantage at the moment, but does go 3 down because of turf disadvantage. And it's looking like AoE is going as fast as possible to get on their base, but it's looking like it's not going to be fast enough at the moment.
There will be bloodshed on the field today, with just so many fights happening all at once, because AoE are just forcing those things to happen. But this is a wipe! The fight finally cleans up, and the Wiper has aura just to move so fast and get into these positions, but they're holding back, likely waiting for some more checkpoint breaks, and maybe some times to throw an Ultra Stamp. A very patient game Hyrax is playing now. Let's see if they get rewarded for it.
It looks like they are getting rewarded as they get a nice double here and is trying to get another pick on the bow here, but they have the lead advantage and honestly just going as fast as possible as Antos and Tacos did to get onto their court as fast as possible once they got that wipeout was just a beautiful thing to see, as high comp players have to have the speed to get in a higher advantage at the moment. So we see that Hyrax is taking the advantage as fast as possible, but we are seeing AoE getting in back again, but they're taking it a bit slower as we see Peace being the one riding the tower at the moment.
Yeah, they just really want to do the tower. It's in the name, AoE. You have the AoE just the tower, and Hyrax has to have a really good push going. That's why they're playing it so slow and steady on these pushes. But they go very heavily down, and it looks like some longer range pressure is going to be put on from AoE. A nice cross-map dart. Maybe this is where we get to see some major momentum coming in from AoE opportunists if they get that blaster on that spinner.
Yeah, we see Peace going up here with the Wiper, and the strikes are coming out once again, but we see that Tacos here is trying to go for a flank, but is getting called out, which might lead to them. Oh, nice jump out by Tacos here. But this is going to be a close game to see if they get the lead here, which they do. And Sneaky coming in and just getting some really nice paint over here for Peace, but unfortunately does get a nice trade. And we see that we have a stamp out, which might kill the person on tower at the moment.
a very important checkpoint break for the side of Ace Opportunist and the extra swing points from the tower. It's something that they could very easily defend from Hyrax levels. So it looks like this could be a match that swings in favor of AoE Opportunists very heavily, but there's still 2 minutes left. Anything can happen.
Yeah, this is gonna definitely be a nail-biter game. As I said, both teams are fighting as fast as possible to build specials and even just run away, but it's looking like Tacos here is getting called out by Jesse, and the stamp does go down. So it's gonna be more so the fact, can they get past check with Peace there as well? And they do unfortunately get shut down by the blaster, and the jet is out, which kills the junior, so no bubble on that tower. And they have to reset here because, once again, the gimmick here is they have no cooler, so it's going to be more of a slower start than they possibly would like here.
Hyrax is still trying to push in. The bow is in position. The bucket's in a good spot too. They're just able to clear tower, but Hyrax not letting off the gas pedal, still taking a lot of fights. We see that there's a player on the enemy plat, presumably the 52 gal, just soloing everyone, and now it's just the bow to protect the tower. A lone bow might not be able to do it, and they can't. Now, Hyrax in position, threatening to just flip that lead because Ace didn't actually get to that checkpoint. And here it is, the lead swap, the stamp
comes out. Oh my gosh, such absolute cinema coming out, but that seems like the last push that is probably going to happen during this time unless Hyrax is able to get back into mid and stop them. So it's going to be a very heavy defense here for Hyrax lovers just so they don't get back onto court. But we see that the bucket gets aura, and we see a splash down come out, but doesn't get anyone. But Peace is still trying as much as they can just to even be able to get core under their control so they can get another big push here.
It's a beautiful day to be on the team of Hyrax lovers since they just broke through the entire checkpoint. We're seeing a nice vertical flick from the Flingza, taking out the drop and fully sealing the deal. That's the end of the match.
Beautiful reverse sweep here from Hyrax lovers. I think it was a crazy pick. I think Tacos just decided, alright, it's time to pull out my main, and just switching to 52 gal, I think just sealed the deal for Peace to have a bit more of a struggle trying to fight against that wall and whale. And we saw that the stamper at the end there to get the nice push on Hyrax lovers was torpedo spamming the bow, so the bow couldn't move at all, and unfortunately did die to the chip, and the torpedo just distraction just was beautiful to see.
The fact I was expecting them to actually back up and reset during those pushes, but they just kept on the pressure, and eventually AoE, they just kind of lost their ability just to keep on holding that angle, and it just let them get in. They found the right little click. The enemy front line was gone. It was just the bow, like you said, and it's got that perfect push just right there.
Yeah, really nice reverse sweep here by the other team, but it is looking like we're going to be sweeping to the other side of semis here, and we're going to be seeing Quarter Flounder with Cheese going against Run Them Down.
Don't make me hungry, man. That name's gonna make me hungry. But we'll have to see the same map list, the same best of 5, but maybe a different story coming out from Run Them Down being back in action against a different team.
Yeah, seeing how there's some really nice, refreshing names on Quarter Flounder here that I think will have some really great eye-catching opportunities for Run Them Down to possibly be at a disadvantage here, because a good friend Inker2, super crazy at shot and some other support and frontline weapons, can definitely be the cause of chaos here on Quarter Flounder, and seeing how Run Them Down is definitely having to rely on their paint for Thai TV, the carbon roller, to move in. It's more so just the disruption of, is the turret going to be able to control what they have, especially on TC ship shape here, if the carbon is just going to have a field day or not.
That's true. I'm getting a little background intel. The comp Ava could be a Hydra. Can we see some Hydra action? It's actually a really good weapon for ship-shaped tower. Just putting a Hydra around where that first checkpoint is. I mentioned it before with bow, but I mean, it worked even better with Hydra. You just can't walk at that thing for free. But we might also see some other unique backlines, like a Heavy or a X-Blow coming out from Ava, especially with that Heavy buff. Could see some interesting things come out in terms of never before seen team compositions.
Yeah, Ava here with the back line just cemented into their picks. I would, not gonna lie, love to see a Bubble Hydra come out because that thing has been popping up out of nowhere, and I'm loving seeing how people are playing it, especially on TC games, because Bubble Cheese is pretty typical on TC here, but typically you see a junior running it, and seeing how a Hydra who typically could run a Booyah Bomb comp switching to Bubble, it just depends on what the other teammates are playing so they could keep that aggressive special on their side.
What do you want? The ability to immediately shut down any enemy tower push? Or the ability to set up your own very strong near knockout push? I kind of like Torrent Hydra first. More, but we'll have to see what happens exactly here. We actually see the Vanilla Heavy paintbrush. An enemy Vanilla Heavy too! We're gonna see a lot of paint get put on the ground for these range fighting weapons as they just kind of run it down while their supports take care of the chores. A very
Okay, I know that B Heavy got a buff, but come on guys, it doesn't have to be this crazy of a pick. But it's looking like Inker here with the Kraken shot here might be getting an early pick as fast as possible, but the dualies go down, and we can see that Inker here is going in with the Kraken, trying to get a pick on the Carbon, and we see that they do! Oh, the Carbon jumps out before the Kraken could get the pick! But it's looking like Azuka does come out, and we see the stamp go down. Inker once again trying to get some nice picks, but does get shut down as we see a dually just immediately turret and explode them. But once again, the B Heavy is there and stops them, but nice Zuko pick, and Tai once again has Aura.
Perfect amount of things. You could see when that Kraken came out, that Quarter Flounder not Quarter Flounder, run them down, parted like the Red Sea. You can see some interesting just faking aggression, getting the enemies to overextend, and Mario cleans up these fights. We get to see the Carbon now actually running in, Trizuka at the ready to the other side if they need to, actually just turning around, looking for anyone to try and kill, and their kill streak kind of ends right there. Let's see how Run Them Down keep momentum though.
Yeah, Tai TV unfortunately did have to back out because he was in too deep, but with the jumps in, he immediately just got back into the action. But it's looking like Quarter Flounder here is trying to get another push and possibly stop Tai from getting any picks at the moment. Double waves come out, so it's just going to be wave shenanigans here. Who can get called out as fast as possible? And we see the blaster does get shut down, and we see that the Heavy is painting so much for Tai TV to even try to get in on right side, which is resulting in Inker having to leave. But we see the Kraken come out and is stopping them from pushing up as much as they can.
Quarter Flounder being very stubborn with this first check. I'd like to see it. We're going to see them start trying to swing the tower in their own advantage too. Maybe stacking on top of it a little much. They need to start going forward with their fights, but that clump up causes them to go down really quickly.
Such an unfortunate way to go down as we see a jump to tower. It goes punished by Mario on the Twinkle Dualies. And it's looking like Run Them Down is trying to clean up as fast as possible so they can actually get past the first check here, as it looks so blue on their side with the bubble. It's just ensuring that they can finally get past this checkpoint, and they're pushing out as fast as possible.
The sneaky paintbrush almost stopped the checkpoint, but it looks like they actually did just do enough disruption just to stop them from taking it, and now the checkpoint regenerates a little bit. You have to just hold that tower the whole way around with the interception on the paintbrush. This is what they actually can start going for to get their momentum, but no! Unfortunately, the Heavy takes out and the push stops for Quarter Flounder, but they have the lead now.
Yeah, Quarter Flounder with the lead here is a nice thing to see, as they've been struggling for a moment to even Run Them Down off of their elbow here. Ava almost getting killed by the Zuka here. But it's looking like Quarter Flounder needs to push up their paint as much as they can, because they are just struggling to even get into their elbow here, as Tai TV is trying to push in as much as they can. But Inker here is trying to keep their strengths in, but does get shut down as they unfortunately dropped.
Leaking time here, going into the last minute. Run Them Down actually has the space, but they're not really moving much with it, opting to just take their small lead and likely stall it into a later game. However, they actually did find the perfect opportunity to actually run in while the enemy team was distracted, while I was distracted, and we get a double kill and get all the way to the third check. How much further can we push this? Just there, just to the third check.
You see Ty TV living as much as he can and running away because, honestly, Valid, I wouldn't want to be in that position either. But that is a nice point for Run Them Down to be in, as there is only 30 seconds left and Quarter Flounder has to get past another checkpoint before they could even secure this overtime push.
Carbon Shark comes out, the Torp spam is being used. Run Them Down is taking every defensive measure to prevent Quarter Flounder from getting that tower, and with only 10 seconds left, no GG specials. The flip could happen, potentially, if Quarter Flounder gets the space.
No. Oh no, the Carbon comes out and gets a wipeout, which unfortunately leads to Quarter Flounder not going even into overtime and Run Them Down getting the first point here on the second round of semis.
Very back and forth match again. We're getting some good matches on the stream today. I'm loving to see it. I'm loving it. To see this aggression coming out just from both sides.
Yeah, and as you can see, chat, they are in the process of voting to see what mode is getting banned this next set. And it is looking like Splat Zones, who is probably most people's favorite, is gonna get shut down.
What that mean for what mode it is going to be? Get some more aggressive, swingy modes. Get some more unpredictable gameplay with Rainmaker and Lamplets in these matches.
Yeah, I'm just really wondering if they're going to keep this paintbrush here on Splat Zone's Robo, because as we could see, because of the slow startup with paintbrush, the Carbon was just automatically punishing them as fast as possible. So I wonder if they're going to be keeping this paintbrush or possibly going to be switching to something more paint heavy so they can stop Ty TV from coming in and just like completely obliterating them. Especially on a map as Robo Ramen is, with it being so flat. Ty TV has some really nice rain here just to get some really quick picks.
Thing is, they already had vanilla heavy splattling. They already had some things to help shut down Ty TV. It might have to be just as full, unless they want a hard counter pick the Carbon Roller. They might have to do some strategical changes outside of just weapon v weapon. We'll have to figure out exactly what to do about that Carbon Roller. It looks like it is the center of the comp. We are seeing people rolling in minimal comp changes.
We do see the paintbrush get rid because it is an ink brush now, so they have two aggressive people now coming in, so maybe they can shut down people as fast as possible. And it looks like Quarter Flounder is getting the advantage here at the beginning with the first push here on zone, as we see that that paintbrush coming in just so they could have a little bit more aggressive pushes here, and it's looking pretty clean at the moment.
Not quite able to find the ability to walk in quite yet, but before I said that, Quarter Flounder is actually found their footing a little bit, but it's just such a scrappy fight around mid. People are going down left and right, but Run Them Down eventually that comes out with less players, and there it is, the wipeout. Let's see how the spawn hold goes, trying to get the heavy splattling as far forward as possible while keeping them completely safe. The Kraken should be there to hold the angle to see what happens from Run Them Down's counter push.
Yeah, Run Them Down with that wipeout caused a really big disadvantage for them, as we see that Ava here is really just super quick to get that pick back and knows that the dualies is there and is just waiting for them to pop their head out. It does unfortunately get called out as Mario does go down, but the torpedo kill is so unfortunate to see, but they shred that bubble so nobody can push up. So they have to go through the corner here, either or on snipe. But we can see that Ava has that lockdown on the snipe, so they can't get that push super strong. And we see the stamp coming out to possibly get another pick.
The wave is dropped. It's hard to run them down to get quite back in. The stamp dies through stamp. And this is just going to be the KO if they can't do anything quick. But they do something quick. I mean, the Fizzy Bomb just painted almost half the zone. Tiny V needs to get it done. So, but no. It's a KO. It was very close at the very last second with Run Them Down almost getting back in mid. But the quarter flounder with cheese comes out on top. Hot and ready and fresh. Made to order.
That was absolutely beautiful. Quarter Pounder came in and said, nah, we're here to win this. And just because you got the first game, we're going to be fighting back as much as possible. And we could see that with the Kraken there, with so much more aggressive pushes, and the Blaster was able to combat with it as like so much more better. And with that brush being there as well caused a bit more advantage. So we could see that they were able to fight the Carbon and Dooley's a bit more better with that close combat.
I mean, the slight comp change, it seemed to really throw off the enemy team. And their ability just to stop Run Them Down from running it down at each pivotal moment, it seemed very important, especially because they noticed that Run Them Down was really heavily stacking the main angle and weren't really throwing people around to the sides. They were prepared for those flanks. However, they didn't need to be, so they knew they could throw more frontliners really far forward and ignore the fact that there's the potential for people to go behind. But it's not really an issue. We're just able to fight them in their spawn and keep on fighting them in their spawn and just hold their ally hostage until the zone ticks to 0.
Yeah, and as we saw with Mario possibly trying to go in for those picks on the left side here on the wall, it was immediately just getting called out. So unfortunately, the flanks were not that great of an advantage for Run Them Down at the moment. And Quarter Flounder was constantly having Ava on the backline here, being able to point them out as fast as possible. We saw that Inker was able to just smoothly come back and stop them from even trying to attack their backline at the moment, which automatically caused their front lines to be down for Run Them Down, which was a really bad disadvantage for them as the backlines there were just possibly struggling to even get down at that moment.
One thing I did notice from Quarter Flounder, though, is that they couldn't quite get their heavy. Let's see if Run Them Down is able to take advantage of the enemy of Quarter Flounder's passive heavy splattering position, or maybe a switch of weapons is a do. You get to see the heavy mirror comes back again. Honestly, these are about the same comp, except we get a crab tank action on the crab leg.
Yup, that is something I'm super excited to see for crab on a crab leg capital. Super common to see. I love the play of words here. And it looks like Inker here is trying to go in for a push. Immediately has Crab and is pushing them back as fast as possible. Gets a really nice pick. And gets another one super pushed back as well. And that is 2 down already for Run Them Down.
Yeah, I mean, Quarter Flounder is just going to keep staggering with picks and going for clams to try and get to this first score. They should be able to make this war happen fast unless the Carbon has something to say about it. And they do. They really do. Now, the whole game just flipped on its head, and it's Run Them Down's chance to make a good ball and score. To get that heavy in the top right and just completely lock the Quarter Flounder in the spawn.
Yeah, it's looking like Quarter Flounder is struggling here as we see that the Doolies and TyTV are in on the court, just pushing them in as much as possible, and they do have the ball finally made. And that is a break in the barrier with the heavy and TyTV under and in. That is going to be a big problem. And we see a Stamp get a double kill, which is beautiful to see.
The continued kill streak from that Carbon is going to keep them able to score clams. We're going to see 2 more come in. The barrier is still open. If that Viper wants to sneak in and get something, they might be able to find it. But it seems like it's time to hold mid. It's time to reset. It's time to relax. Unless, of course, this brush gives us some problems. And the brush will be giving us some problems, taking that top right, trying to get rid of any enemy defensive stronghold, trying to prime up their push because they had their clam and they're ready for things to start happening. We're gonna see a continued just crab tank, splashdown, everything's coming out. 2 kills on the board, 3 kills on the board. It's time to get ballin'. We got 2 of them as well. This should take us to nearly lead.
As we see, a stamp comes out, but it does get shut down by the other stamp here. But it looks like we still are 2 up for quarter flounder, and they do have the clams, but the basket is already closed, which is a big disadvantage for them because they still have to go through a 20-point penalty. And Mario is in on the right side here, getting as fast as possible picks. Gets another one. That is 3 down for quarter flounder here. And Mario and Thai TV are coming in as fast as possible just so they can get another stop for quarter flounder to even get out of their court.
We get to see this potential push, but they're all stuck on low ground. We're not quite taking the places we need to because we're just staying back for clams. But we can afford this. We have lead. So we're able to just kind of chill for it. Take some specials, you know, trying to get them to burn some resources, but we are going down a little bit. This is quarter flounder's chance now. That jump kill, pivotal. We're going to see them be able to get their clams and the counter push come out. Hopefully we get to see a good crab tank on this top right side. Can we see the thing that can cause us to get that perfect little push?
Beautiful, absolute cinema coming in from the crab.
And
but it does look like the stamp gets called out, and the basket is so far away, and it doesn't look like, and neither of them can pick up the ball in time, which is so unfortunate to see. As we see, the crab was in the pivotal moment there, was getting some really nice chip points, but nobody was able to move off of it.
The brush comes in almost, but does take out the heavy. We're going to see some really good aggression. Even though they just ran all of their specials dry, they're still looking to find those picks, find that advantage, because only 1 minute left for them to score effectively 30 points. A ball plus 4 clams doesn't come too easily.
Yeah, and we do see the crab come out, but it does try to get attacked by the Zuka here. The Zuka is missing all of the shots, so Thai TV is called out at the moment and has to jump back. But it is looking like oh, they get the score in, and do they get the second ball in at this moment? But they missed the ball, but Ether is there to take the lead as they were safely in underneath the basket, and that is a nice lead. But now they have to play defense super hard. As you see, that Run Them Down is already in mid and has a ball, so they technically have 2 balls in their pockets. So it's looking like to be a really serious overtime defense here for quarter flounder.
Down. It's already almost set up for their push, but their enemy heavy on quarter flounder is just in the perfect position to just paint over that ramp. Just keep on stopping to swim in, and if that ramp doesn't get blue anytime soon, I mean, it's probably just over. We need
We do see that Brush get some really nice picks here, and it's only the heavy left at the moment because everyone else has to jump in. We see Mario go in, but just get shut down by the heavy. And that is a W for quarter flounder with cheese. This is probably just going to be a really good back and forth with these modes here. As we see that both of them have their strong suits. And it's just more so the fact of who can play the more aggressive pushes once they have the numbers advantage.
Is true. There were some very defensive plays coming out from either team. But when things clicked in, it really did just happen. Everything just kind of opened up for Run Them Down in that match. Quarter flounder struggling to find their opportunity. Did I just get the teams mixed up? I apologize.
You did. It's okay.
The quarter flounder with cheese, they're the yellow team because it's the cheese and your double quarter flounder. You know, Run Them Down, they were... I can remember that. My
Blue
apologies.
as in Sonic for run. There. Beautiful. Absolute cinema. But it's looking like this is going to be an interesting mode for both teams because Heavy is severely favored on Manta Maria Rainmaker because it's so great on said grades and bats here because it just runs and paints super well on both sides here. So it's more so the fact of who can get that more aggressive first push and pop, so we can see who is able to get the checkpoint first.
Is true. Rainmaker Manta get to see those wide angles really come out as well. Which team's going to be making the most of that? Likely the team with the ink brush could get some wide flanks or create pressure on the main angle while the rest of the team fakes out, goes to the off angle. We saw that happen last time. We'll see if we can get it to happen again too.
Yeah, I'm really wondering if Inker here is going to swap from the Kraken or stay Splash as well, because both of those weapons kind of struggle on Manta. So I'm wondering if it's going to be a B shot or a T-Tech that comes out. But nope, the Kraken does come back, so we will be seeing some aggressive pops probably be using the Kraken.
The Kraken is just great for shutting down that Rainmaker if you need just to do it in a pinch, but we'll have to see who gets the pop in this opening. Likely going to be Flounder, actually. Run them down, gets the pop despite their wiper moving in more slowly, and they're just taking these lower down positions to help them swim through quickly. 1-1 trade. We'll have to see if the Rainmaker really gets moving off of this. It probably will, because it's just almost a wipe. Yeah, let's grab that fish and let's dunk it ASAP. Oh!
The Kraken does come out, but they don't see TyTV, which gets a flick on the heavy here and gets the shot as well. So they have to get this called out, and that is a triple for TyTV.
That is a one-man army right there if I've seen it. Now, can we drop the Rainmaker off this ledge? It's pivotal to get that super lead of 16. Man, this might be the average Rainmaker match. Gets the pleasure of playing defensive for the next 4 minutes. What a Flounder has to find out their way back in.
Yeah, I definitely have a feeling here that they're going to be wanting to go for another push here, as we see that TyTV is just wanting to get a pick and gets called out, and unfortunately has to run away. But the stamp gets shut down on the side of Quarter Flounder, but we see that TyTV is wanting to get a really nice pick here and does gets them called out and is going to be camping a jump here. So that is TyTV in with Azuka, gets another one, and that is really nice picks for Run Them Down at the moment.
The continued kill streak and the possession of the Rainmaker is drawing so many resources out of Quarter Flounder. We're actually seeing some super jumps come back in an attempt to make a push happen, but we can't walk too far back with that Rainmaker. It just starts ticking down too fast, so we're a little scared of doing that. And Quarter Flounder able to take advantage of the scattered and staggered team to try and get something that could get them that first checkpoint.
Yeah, as we see here, the Stamp is trying to get in and stop the push, but does go down, and they get the first checkpoint. But we see that TyTV is once again back and ready to rumble, as we see that they're probably going to be camping here so they could get a really nice pick. And there is a lot of blue in the hallway here, and it's just Inker here in the bats. But with these jumps here, it's looking like the Brush is going to get a really nice pick on the Brush here, but does have to pick it up, which is leaving them down a defensive player. As I say that, Inker gets a nice double.
We keep on seeing the extension of this push, but no one's in there to grab the Rainmaker. It's a tragedy. I don't think we're going to be able to keep this going unless we get a rat out of this brush, but they seem to be forcing the main angle instead of going around the side. The Rainmaker is definitely going to reset, even with that trade, even with everything. They have to go back and pop that Rainmaker. 2 minutes on the clock? They probably have time. As long as they can keep on draining stuff from resources from Run Them Down.
Yeah, it looks like Quarter Flounder Inker is up in a spot where he is needed and is trying to stop. Gets a nice pick on the Carbon, so TyTV is down. This could be the push they are needing, as another one gets down, and it is down to 24 points, and Inker is still alive. That is a double number advantage for Quarter Flounders at the moment, and they have the, oh my gosh, a 2-point difference.
The amount of pre-fire and the wave breaker was just perfect. A really early drop from the Rainmaker could risk giving possession back to Quarter Flounder, but Wipeout ensures that that won't happen, and the enemy team, the Quarter Flounders, are stuck in their around their bunker. Kraken helped force them out, but it might not work the best.
As we see here, the Blaster's trying to find the dualies here, but Mario is just sticking with the defensive hold on right side, and it's like seeming like he will forget, people will forget that he was on there. It looks like the Rainmaker is probably going to get called out by Mario here. The brush is trying to get Mario and does! So that is a 3-up on Quarter Flounder. We see that the brush is going in for a fight. Might get shut down by the Stamper, which it does. And we see that they are trying to get some more picks here. And with only 40 seconds left, it's looking like Quarter Flounder is going to have to build a lot more specials so they can get back to that pit area so they can get 2 points on their side.
It still could be a match that happens for Quarter Flounder since the Rainmaker is in their court. They're heavy, the perfect candidate to grab it, grabs it, and we're gonna have to see how well we can clear space in these last 17 seconds, getting near the edge, but dying to the carbon roll, who will likely be able to camp this Rainmaker the rest of the match. And there it is.
Oh, and that is a wipeout for Quarter Flounder here. It's just like Ty TV is having the time of his life with getting these crazy picks, and it's looking like Quarter Flounder just needs to be able to find where that carbon is hiding, because when we saw that they managed to get down to the 18 points, but once they forgot to look where Ty was, it just immediately became a really hard disadvantage for them since they were struggling to get past because it was just immediate picks on Ty, so the Quarter Flounders were struggling to even get back in on that drop.
Very back and forth match until that first push happened, but they had us on the edge of the seats. They had that push to 18 that almost won the match, but that wave breaker, the amount of pre-fire they had, it just kept their defense rock solid, and that is all you need to do for this mode. We're back! Game 5! Again!
Another Game 5 set.
Our seats.
Yeah, we aren't getting some super clean wipes here, which honestly, I love to see these close games because it makes them way much more exciting when we see who the final winner is on the final Game 5 set, and which is going to make it so exciting to see who is going to get in the finals, because both of these teams on either side of the semi-bracket, both of them have gotten to Game 5, so it's making me wonder, is it going to be another Game 5 situation in finals, or is it going to be an incredibly fast wipe for either of these teams?
I don't know what to say. All the teams seem to be playing just as well against each other out of the nature of the tournament. What's going to end up happening is it's going to be close no matter what, because the if it's going to be close matches now, I mean, it's going to be later too. We're going to see those first and second place teams going up against each other, heart to heart, fighting for that trophy in this gimmick tournament.
And here we are going on Museum d'Alfonso on TC, which we see that both of them have a V heavy, so it's more so the fact, we see that paintbrush come out once again. So it's more the fact if they want to have the paint advantage here on Run Them Down so they can stop this carbon from coming in. And so Inker also having the crab here is going to be able to have them getting some really nice pushes here.
Teams opting for a slower rollout, playing for the crab tank. Quarter Flounder likely is going to go on that tower with the crab to try and open things up. The paintbrush pushing right side needs to force much harder to make sure this crab tank is value. Actually, they don't. The crab tank just causing so much chaos from top mid that we're able just to get our push off that. And that's basically a wipe.
Yeah, delayed wipe here for Run Them Down. We see that Inker is already in the base trying to get some really nice fast picks. We see that they get called out by Zuka here, which is so unfortunate, but we see that the Stamper is down. Blaster is in, trying to get a nice pick on this V Heavy. Goes for a splash run just so they can live and run away, but does get called out by the Heavy. But we see that they're already done with the second checkpoint.
Yeah, I mean, blinking you'll miss it. The tower, this is a fast video game, but the push just ends right after the second check, but it's a place to be. A push of 28, not quite getting to the third check though, so Run Them Down with a good opportunity can make this back in their own way, and they keep on extending this potential push.
We see that the bubble gets voluntarily called out. The paintbrush comes in and gets a really nice pick on the V Heavy here, and the Stamp is getting pushed back as fast as possible because they can't run it because of the paint. But does get a really nice flick on the paintbrush, and Ty TV is once again in and getting on court here so they can become super aggressive and get a really fast pick for their teammates to get in. Does target the crab, but unfortunately does not get the picks.
Still forces the crab to take a very odd angle. Extends a bit into an heavy splattling. We'll see this to be the end of the run them down push. And a wave breaker kill coming out from the heavy, allowing them to still kind of keep getting a little extra value while they're kiting back and just making sure they have their plat for what comes next.
Yeah, oh, nice pick here from the blaster at the moment, but does get shut down, and that is 2 down on both teams. But that is more down on the side of run them down. We see the blaster is coming in, trying to get a nice pick underneath the ledge here, which blasters love to do on this map, but does try to get called out by both people. But the stamp gets a trade essentially because of that. That is 2 down on the side of run them down, 3 down. We see that the tower is already still in mid. Nobody has claimed it at the moment. We see the brush come in and try to get some picks. Has the Zuka ready and is using it to possibly get a pick, but does get shut down. We see the blaster in, does also get shut down. So it's most of the fact they were going to have to run back to mid so they can keep this push possibly going.
Here comes the potential run them down comeback with an Ultra Stamp and a bubble ready to just jump on the enemy court. With that stamp, here it comes. Hopefully the Dualies is here to follow, but almost dying to the enemy shooter, but just barely living. The heavy goes down next. And one by one, all of Quarter Flounder goes down, but the blaster gets a nice pick on the tower, forcing an awkward carbon roller sitting on tower. But we'll have to see exactly how they clear that top right. They need to do that so they can get to past 28.
As we see that they're at 39-28, they take the lead. TyTV gets a double with the Zuka, and it's looking like the brush does get a nice pick, but they are still down and they are struggling to get paint back into their base. As we see that Mario also does get shut down, so their front lines are at a disadvantage here. We see TyTV trying to get a pick, does get the pick on the splash and immediately jumps out. As we see that they're going back onto their court, the stamp comes out, gets a nice pick. We see that Mario is trying to go back in on the tower, and it's just an overall just fight to see who is going to keep their court.
The Zuka comes out, comboing with the Fizzy Bomb. Run them down. They're not done yet. The bubble is going to come out on tower, and this is probably just going to seal the deal for the match, unless someone can just dive to the tower, which unfortunately does not happen this time. An incredible match from both teams. Run them down. Simply got more speed at the very end, and that just sealed their pass to finals.
Them down did an exceptional push at the end here, making sure that they got TyTV in with the dualies. They just ensured that they were having that push on spinner going super fast and super strong. We saw that Quarter Flounder had a really nice push at the beginning, but they were struggling to keep up with the aggressive pushes that the dualies and Carbon were pushing against, because they only had one person that was more of an aggressive player, because the paintbrush was more so just causing more of a disruption because of the more slower swipes that they have. So it was more so the fact that Run Them Down had a bit more of that aggressive power to keep the hold on these pushes, so that ensured them to get those really nice picks in the enemy court.
Yeah, great showing from both teams, getting matches on each other, finding their opportunities, and using their playstyles, their best capabilities. Run Them Down had such good continuation on their pushes. You're right about that. They were able to keep in those positions, and that is what really brought them to this victory. But going forward, we're going to be seeing the reverse sweep champions, Hyrax lovers, versus... Oh wait, no, I'm looking at... Am I looking at the right set? Yes, I am.
Yeah.
The reverse sweep champions, Hyrax lovers, going up against Run Them Down. Sorry, I thought that match already happened.
It is looking like we're going to be... Oh, are we going to be starting with possible spot zones? I'm not too sure because of the gimmick. I'm not
I believe
sure.
So I doubt we're going to be running this zoned map, but unless I misinterpret the gimmick.
Yeah, it's... I'm really wondering how these teams are going to fight, and if we're going to see Tacos still continuing to play the 52 Gal, as we only really saw that they had it because they wanted to combat the blaster that Peace had on the opposite team. And as we see that Run Them Down has more of a Carbon Dualies combo, I'm wondering if they're going to keep the Gal here because it's more of a slower shooter, or if Tacos is going to switch back to a different weapon just so they could play a bit more aggressively and stop the Carbon from getting in some really precarious places.
They might have to. I think actually they might keep the 52 because I feel like that's gonna have a pretty good matchup in the Carbon. It's just able to get the kills so fast. Carbon Roller usually is the one getting quick kills, but if 52 can match that pace, then they can really be a thorn in the sides of Run Them Down.
Yeah, and as we saw, Tacos was definitely manifesting the Gal mentality when they were going against Peace on the blaster, that they were faster than the blaster, they were faster than everyone else with that wall placement, which resulted in them getting some really nice picks as well with their wiper. So they were just constantly comboing the other team. So it's more so the fact of who has the better duo, a Carbon Roller and Dualies or a Gal and Viper. So it's just going to be the fact of who can fight as a duo better.
We will be seeing Rainmaker on Humpback Pump Track as the first map because we just banned Splat Zone. Zones only. What about zones never? I am kind of down for this because I'm a little bit of a Splat Zones hater myself. Because I play the weapon that likes pushing into the enemy spawn, and zones is not necessarily about that. So we might see a lot more of coming in this best of 5 grand finals.
Yeah, as zones getting banned here, that really just means all of these resulting modes are just more so about companionship and teamship, as we see that both clams and tower control are more so the fact of who can be able to communicate who has what and who can be where, because we know that clams is about who can make the ball. If we have enough economy, if we're able to pass that along to each other to actually make a ball, or if we're just going to be scrambling to even make one, because we've seen before being able to make a ball can be a bit of a hassle, and it's just more so the fact who has the better clam economy. And with Rainmaker, who's going to be picking up the Rainmaker, because sometimes it's the support shooter, sometimes it's the back line. So it's more so the fact who's going to be doing those call-outs to see who is going where.
This is it. This is the big match. I mean, a lot of people saying there's no money in the Splatoon scene. Not today. We got 300 bones for the winning team. If you're going to split that evenly between 4 players, what's the math on that again? About just over 70?
Honestly, I play super hard for $70 here. Honestly, I can see that both of these teams are super passionate about how they're playing, and it's just going to be probably super close games once again, because both of them were super close fighting with each other. So we see that Hydrax did a reverse sweep on their side of semi brackets, and we see that Run Them Down was able to come back once they got that first round loss. So it's more so the fact of who is able to play a bit more better on these specific maps, because we see that Rainmaker Humpback is a bit of a troublesome map for some wipers and Gal, because Carbon loves this map so much. It's so easy for Carbons to be able to shark on this map. So it's just more so the fact, can Hyrax lovers be able to call out where this Carbon is hiding?
And also, we really need to walk on eggshells to make sure we're following all of these special rules. Only one of each sub-weapon per team. No more triple burst bombs. Sorry, guys. Sorry, triple burst bomb spammers. All players need to be wearing a Splatfest tee. We're banning out right Tacticooler. And we need Thermal Ink, Haunt, or Tenacity, 1 per team. And no Splat Zones. There's a lot to really keep track of when you're making your comps, so you have to figure out how to make the most out of this certain situation. How do we spam Splat Bombs if we can only run one of them? How do we stall the Rainmaker with those lethal bomb spam? Do we have to spread out our opportunities, or do we have to make sure we just all play our comfort weapons, or at least as comfortable as possible, to make sure we can go forward despite all of these unique rules.
Yeah, if I had to keep in mind all those rule sets for the gimmicks, my mind would probably be imploding right now because all of my weapons have crazy bomb sections. So I'm really wondering to see in this first game what weapons they're going to be picking out here, as we see that Mario here is on the end parries.
Seeing some rather aggressive comps, both teams taking a beeline for that Rainmaker. Quick pop from Run Them Down. The Wiper gonna start going for kills as well. We're gonna see some really nice fighting on this ramp, and oh my god, that's everyone out of play. Swings have jumped out. It's basically a wipe. There goes the first check. This is terrifying. Rainmaker Humpback can end in an instance if you hyperdive it properly.
Yeah, as we can see, 30 seconds into the game, they already get it down to 30 points. While Hyrax Lovers has no points on the board at the moment, they're going to have to be super aggressive here, get the Wiper in as much as possible, just so they can keep mid onto their advantage. As we see that the Tacos here is struggling a little bit, just so they can clear out this right side. Does get a nice little pick on the Wiper here, and is going for a push here. And we see that we lose the Rainmaker due to an overhead push here.
Rainmaker is still pretty easily in possession for Hyrax. It's not that hard to just pick it up and start moving it again if they start getting a space on top mid. However, this requires some splitting, which could be the perfect opening for Carbon to get a quick trade and just keep them from actually being able to grab that Rainmaker. And it looks like Run Them Down is just taking advantage of the Rainmaker's awkward position. Actually, solid, effectively.
As you can see, we see... Oh, never mind, immediately gets shut down. We saw that they were trying to set up a nice pick on the Stamp special here. Oh, it's so unfortunate. The Stamper is just constantly getting some really nice checks and chips on the Rainmaker here. They are not... they're putting up a fight. Run Them Down is surely just making sure they can keep them from even getting the first check at this point. As you see, the Heavy is constantly on the lookout for people even going into mid here.
Fortunately, Run Them Down did have to pop the Rainmaker because it's in a more threatening position. So now they actually have to fight over the control of this fish against Hyrax, who just quickly gets the pop and starts taking this fight in mid. The Wavebreaker might slow them down. We'll have to see how the Viper pushes in regarding these special usages. There's a bit of staggering going on the side of Run Them Down, and this chance for Hyrax to get some more picks and get that checkpoint, and they do get that checkpoint.
They are also 2 down though, and that is 2 down on both sides, so it's going to be more so the fact, can they get a properly safe pick with them being down at the moment. We see that Mario is trying to get a nice cleanup here and is almost close to a splashdown. So if they get super close, they're able to just get a really nice clean pick here. And they have the splashdown, they're going in just to get that nice slap, and they get a triple!
Triple quarter pounder with cheese? I thought that the burgers were in last match, but we're getting our triples online right here and now. The Rainmaker being effectively stalled again until it resets from that corner for the side of Run Them Down. This is looking pretty up.
Unfortunate pick.
It's a kill.
Yeah.
We get to see some good play. Run Them Down looking to take even more fights because Hyrax is just struggling to find their footing. The Zuka could come out and pick that Rainmaker just to stop the push on its heels. The Zuka misses, but still in a sit on that Rainmaker. We're going to see Hyrax lovers maybe getting their chance to push with how split Run Them Down is.
Tacos does shut down the flank. That is happening, and we see that they're going down. They get the lead, but that does lead a wipeout coming out. We see that Hyrax Lovers is trying to contest the pop here, but it does look like they might get shut down at this point. No teams have a special here, so it's more so the fact who can pick up the Rainmaker at this point. We see that the Stamper is coming down, possibly trying to get a nice little flank here on the snipe at the moment. Neither team's there. It's a splashdown that comes out and gets the Flingza, as we see that they are contesting elbow at this point and does get it picked. We see that there's only 40 seconds left and there's only a 6-point lead difference. So it's more so the fact if Hyrax can make sure they can ensure this lead in the next 30 seconds.
very unfortunate that they only have 30 seconds to work with, but Hyrax did get a very long kills. This could actually really help them get in. The Carbon somehow lives for a little longer than they should have, which gives an opportunity for a dually dive and a very threatening Rainmaker. But the Whales does get a pick. This is actually Hyrax's chance to get past 24. It's well within possible, but they might need one or more, two more picks. The Rainmaker goes down.
We see a triple come out from the Wiper. It is overtime at this moment, but they pick up the Rainmaker, and the Hyrax Lovers gets the points in overtime.
That is it. The first match. High octane match between Hyrax Lovers and Run Them Down. It really looks like Hyrax Lovers found their speed. They weren't a slow comp after all. They tricked me for some reason. I'm offended. But it only makes for good storytelling with a good plot twist, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm exceptionally just amazed on how well they were able to keep mid after that singular push, because as we saw, Run Them Down was constantly going down in mid after that initial push. Well, it looked like they were able to control mid. We saw that Tacos there was that like constantly shutting them down in mid. So they're constantly 2 to 3 people down. So Hyrax was able to just keep that defensive position up as fast as possible, so they couldn't even get past the elbow there. And as we saw, once they were 3 down, we saw Hyrax immediately go and just cause another push, and once that happened, it was a game at that moment.
Very good play from both sides. We'll have to see exactly what adaptations they make going into Scorched Gorge. Clam Blitz feels like a similarly shaped map. I mean, when I think about shapes, I'm looking at Scorched Gorge's elbow being kind of similar to the... Well, it's not necessarily elbow, I usually call it ramp, being similar to the elbow of Humpback, but with a little extra flexibility. You got that little bit of a crate to run across. And if we can see some weapons that can take advantage of that, maybe we could see some new things happen. I was looking at the wrong map list. My apologies! It is actually a different map than what I expected.
It's Clam Blitz Inkblot, actually. But it's looking like the same concert coming out here, and we see that Mario is the one.
Inkblot.
Wait, it's Tower Control. Oh my gosh, I might be cooked.
Before the commentators are even able to somehow figure out what map we're playing on.
We see the 3 go down on the side of Run Them Down.
We're gonna see some big action coming across the step. The Flinterroll looking for the sneakiest pick. The Shark waits for his opportunity to pounce and strike, and unfortunately the Wiper takes them out before much else happens. But the distraction was enough to quickly break that first checkpoint for the side of Hyrax Lovers, the Whale. Ooh, that's a nice time for a killer whale to get a kill.
As we see, Tacos gets a nice pick on the Wiper here. They do have a nice lead of 61. Tai TV comes in with a carbon hit and is able to reset the tower back into mid here. We see that Tacos is getting some really nice picks here at the beginning initial push and is just making sure they can't keep this left side. The Zuko comes out, but unfortunately doesn't get anyone. The Crab does come out. Tacos does get shut down by the carbon. The Crab is coming out low, and we see them just trying to see who can get a nice pick here. Of course, the Carbon is going for a ledge peek, but that is 2 down on the side of Hyrax Lovers and Run Them Down at the moment.
See this Carbon going right for the back.
It almost fell in the water.
And on the edge of my seat, we see the Carbon Zuka come out from the side. Again, they seem to be getting a lot of passive special advantage from the tower, helping Run Them Down keep a constant stream of attacks in. The Dualies gets a good drop kill, but targeted by the Whales, they likely die in this corner. We have to see how Hyrax can re-stabilize after all of this chaos is happening.
Yeah, Run Them Down is getting targeted by these missiles here, so they do get called out. We see that Tai TV is trying to get a nice little pick here, but with the missiles and the Flingsa just getting some really nice paint output, it's going to be a bit of a struggle for Tai TV to even get back into mid. We see that Mario on the right side is trying to go for a crab fight, but it's just more so looking like it's just a fight on the left side more so than Mario getting some picks.
Champlain almost going down, but living in spite of adversity. Unfortunately, does finally get picked as Run Them Down starts getting that momentum that they really need. The Wavebreaker comes out on plat. Can we get some extra fighting going on? Not quite.
Tacos get to triple!
To stop this push right in its tracks, but the Viper comes out. Who wins that? It's a trade. This is not honestly the best trade to happen for a team like them.
Tacos is getting some really nice picks here just to ensure that they can make some really nice things happen. Flingza unfortunately does go down after trying to get a nice pick down, so that is 2 down on the side of Hyrax lovers, 3 down on the side of Hyrax, and Run Them Down is once again on the side to get another push in, but we can see probably that the bubble is going to play a bit more of a defensive push here. Tacos pushing down the Wiper, and we see that they're getting called out here and immediately goes down.
Being unfortunately surrounded while trying to take a defensive flank for a defensive advantage, but you see the bubble, a quick steal on the tower, and Run Them Down, not able to get much more than 4-7. This is still a very makeable lead for Hyrax lovers, but they just haven't been able to find that momentum. But here we go. Here's your wipe. Here's your 52 gal going on the enemy plat. And here is another pick. 50 gal. We're seeing a lot of things happening here and now. But now we can just break into the checkpoint in the lead swap with only 1 minute on the clock. But the 52 gal, they're just not stopping. Enemies are a problem to this guy. We're just on a tear. The tower is moving and it just stops. One little thing just stops the push. Way more fragile. The push was way more fragile than I was in. But a push to 1, this could be something they stall out for. Since Run Them Down needs to break an entire checkpoint.
Yeah, Hydrax lovers does have a bubble on their side. Tacos there going for the flank, stopping the crap from happening. That is 2 down on the side of Run Them Down. We see that Tacos is on the tower. And we stopping the stamp as well. We see that Thai TV is trying to fight Tacos here at the moment, but does unfortunately have to push back as we see that they do get Tacos. And does get the Flingza. That is a delayed wipe for Hyrax lovers here. And it's going to look like they're going to have to push a really hard defense at the moment just so they can keep the lead.
Hyrax unfortunately door dashing the tower control to Run Them Down. This is their overtime chance. But where the crab take comes out in an incredibly good position. 2 kills come out as well. But a flank could stop everything. Just one player getting behind. That's a
we
full
see that
wipe.
That is a wipeout, and they're going past that through that checkpoint, and that is an overtime lead take.
Wow, that was very intense. The absolute flip to keep this set 1-1. It's just so close from both teams who play so well in these matches.
Definitely, all of these have been such crazy nail-biting games that it's more so the fact of who can just keep this momentum going when they get these pushes, because we see that both of them get really nice pushes, but then it just immediately gets shut down on either side. And it's more so the fact who can come back in with the bigger momentum just so they can keep the push going.
The momentum didn't really happen to really get a KO push. Both teams just kind of scrambling to see which one can get to 41 points. But that's just what keeps it on its toes. With so many weapons that move fast and can get behind enemies, it's just going to stop every push every time it almost happens. Really, both teams need to work out how to get rid of those flanks if they're going to go further into these next matches.
Yeah, speaking of the next set, finally it's oh my gosh, it's Clamblitz
on Scorch Gorge.
Now that's the map that's finally showing up instead of TC. This is going to be a very interesting map, as you said. The ramp is such a pivotal point on both sides of the team, because once that gets taken, it's incredibly hard to get that momentum back so you can get back control of mid. Since both of these teams have some really aggressive weapons, it's more so the fact of who can keep that first push going.
Ranges in composition could be interesting. We actually see the vanilla dualies staying on the vanilla dualies and no real comp changes across the board here. Let's see how they take space in this opening to try and see how many clans they can taking early fights. Maybe.
Yeah, Tacos is already trying to get some really nice picks here. As we can see, they're keeping control of right side as much as possible, but they're getting called out so fast. But that is one. The duelies are down on the side of Run Them Down. That is 2 down. Tacos is in. Has 3 points down. That is a delayed wipe on the side of Run Them Down. Tacos is going in. Gets the wipe out. And they are in, trying to make a ball as fast as possible. And that is a wipe, like a clean wipe on the side of Hyrax. They are pushing and getting the clams in as fast as possible. Tacos is going in, trying to cause a distraction on the left side here.
Yeah, it seems like Tacos is just the distraction. I don't care that you're calling me out. My teammates are just gonna deal with you. Try and shoot at my splash wall. And it looks like they have Hyrax has another chance. Some pushes going with some specials, with some positions they can use just to move forward. But where's the money? Where's the money, SpongeBob? Is it in the briefcase still? We're kind of out of clams, and we can't exactly hold this position because we have to just back out for having no clams. Fortunately,
yeah, it's looking like they did such a fast
special.
push that they couldn't get the clams to spawn in fast enough, so they did have to unfortunately back out. But that doesn't mean that they still don't have control of mid, because they do. But it looks like Thai TV is trying to go in for a push here, sees that somebody is on that top moment, and is going to try and get control of the top court here. But does unfortunately have to back out because there's nobody left. Tacos gets the fight, but does get called out by Thai TV. But we see another one come out and pit here, and it's more so the factor if they're gonna jump. They did jump out, which is such a good thing for them. And Thai TV is going in as fast as possible, but gets called out by the mines.
Run Them Down only getting so much value from their pushes and special rotations that they can't exactly get this ramp quite yet. Going 2 down to Hyrax Lovers counter push. The Flings are just coming in and getting more and more stagger kills. The Wiper can't even stop a super jump from the entire Hyrax Lovers back where we were in the first minutes. Now that the clams are here and the basket is down, we can actually get some points in.
Tacos just needs one more clam, and it's more so the fact of, like I said, communication. They were struggling to make a ball at this beginning, which caused their point and push to get delayed at this point, because they weren't being able to communicate when that ball was getting made. So now they have to wait even more patiently. We see that they're getting some nice stocks here at the point, stopping the... Oh, gets a nice pick on the Dapples here, and is probably going to be throwing and stopping this heavy from getting another push. But the stamp does unfortunately get shut down here.
Clams are in the favor of the side of Run Them Down. It's their time to shine, but going a little too quickly into this Flings roller can end your push before it even starts. Have to another crab. Zuka online. Here comes a special rotation that you are surely not able to deal with. And the perfect crab tank clears any defense that the enemy team has. We need to see someone go to that left side to really help become a larger push. It has the potential to be a super high push to get Run Them Down the win, but unfortunately, they have to fall out in kites, getting staggered just a touch.
Yeah, nice lead here by Run Them Down here, but it's more so the fact of if they can keep this lead, because we know that Hyrax Lovers gets really fast aggressive pushes as Tacos manages to get in and keeps a really nice control of their left side. But both teams are down at the moment, so it's more so the fact who can get back control of mid here.
We can see the control for mid is going a little bit in favor of down. Unless this 52 gets online, but no, the 52 going down could mean some bad news for Hyrax as the Wiper from Run Them Down starts getting in. Ultra Stamp prepared. Let's see what's going on with this Ultra Stamp. Potentially overextending into the Flingza, but the Flingza gets traded back. This is overall really positive for Hyrax. That's wipe. Hyrax potentially able to extend their lead in the last 30 seconds. 41.
Mario does get called out by Tacos here, as we can see that they're going in for a flank and gets 2 down, gets a wipe. As we can see, Tacos is going in as fast as possible just so they can get a lead here. But it is going to be really close to see because they have to build so much vessels and get the team back on their side here.
Get that score. They just snuck in an extra pity clam jump. Well, this is going to be really hard for Hyrax. They actually have 2 balls. I mean, getting that down to 42 and then use small clams could definitely win the match, but 42 goes for space and kills instead of trying to score the clams they have in the ball. Baskets just closes.
And that is a
Unfortunate for the
point
side of
for
Hyrax.
Run Them Down.
Run Them Down, showing their stuff in this Glam Blitz match. Really keeping the pressure of those pushes and winning those neutral interactions to really help them just come out on top. Let's see how they can take this momentum forward to potentially one more win.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see because we're once again back on Rainmaker, but this time on Crab Lake. And as we saw, Run Them Down was having a bit of trouble against Hyrax lovers against Rainmaker on these controls. So it's gonna be the fact of it's gonna be another repeat of that. So it's gonna be another game 5, or if Run Them Down has the momentum, has the adrenaline to continue with that hype motion that they have because they are up a game. So if they can just get this push done and over with and win the $300, or if the Hyrax is gonna be more determined and be able to set this to a game 5.
I'm wondering something about Rainmaker on Crab Lake Capital. Will we see an InkFac come out? It's been very popular. There's been a lot of buzzing about InkFac in Vanilla 96. It'd be pretty easy to potentially slot in something, but you would have to drop a V heavy as you cannot two sprinkler weapons. Maybe we can see some unique picks in Vanilla Big Swig or a Ballpoint Nouveau coming out. I'd like to see something happen to try and cheese this win. Maybe someone can get something quick and interesting going through.
As we saw in semifinals, Tacos switched their weapon to try and recombat. So I'm wondering if Tacos is finally going to be able to switch and see if they can find a reason to recombat Ram Them Down, or if they're going to stick the 52 gal, which they do.
We'll see ourselves rolling out into mid. How aggressively can we walk at this Rainmaker shield and pop it? Looks like Run Them Down is there just before Hyrax, but Hyrax looks like they have just as much object damage. Run Them Down, getting the time advantage by getting there just a little bit faster, does win the pop, and Zuka almost able to just potentially win everything in this opening engagement, but Hyrax finding cover to hide from Zuka. Actually, Junior going down early? 3 down early? What's this? They found their swing, and now they're going to be able to hop right checkpoint really quickly. And look at this! They're already in the enemy spawn! The crab is going to come out and just shut down any hope for... Does this shut down any hope for Hyrax?
Yeah, they're going to have to do some crazy amounts of pushes here, but we already see that it is down to 32. But that is 2 down on the side of Run Them Down, so they're going to have to stop the Rainmaker, which they do. But that is only 8 points left on the side of Run Them Down, which means that if Hyrax wants to continue fighting as much as they can, they have to get a complete knockout or even down further than that. But we see that Tacos here is going in and getting some really nice picks and is able to get back on the right side here with a whale in hand as well as a stamp, so they can be able to stop and possibly get this first checkpoint in lock.
This is a great place to be 52 gal, able to just walk in and walk across that ramp and shoot at anyone without them being able to swim at you. Unfortunately, falling out of that position, Ultra Stamp, Incident, and Run Them Down gets possession of the Rainmaker again off of just a perfect setup. They would have had wider aim the enemy team from, which allowed them to just get a better fight.
You see that Mario here is putting up a crab on the right side here just so they can displace somebody. They get a pick on the Junior, but gets killed, and we see that there is no momentum that is getting Run Them Down to stop, because we see that they're already back on that more than halfway point. They are wanting to get this check down and over with, but we see that unfortunately the Flingza does go down. But it's just more so the fact if the Junior can hold this as the bubble is covering the Rainmaker. But they they get stopped at the last second
with the clutch kill. We get to see if this Rainmaker pop can actually come out and they can get the KO. But unfortunately, there's just not enough damage, not in that position. Hyrax still in the game, just barely. See what they can do from these positions.
You see that Thai TV is wanting to get a ledge pick, but has to unfortunately jump back to the base. But that doesn't mean that Hyrax Lovers is still on the loose, because the Rainmaker does unfortunately get picked off. So they have to go back to base and get it picked up once again. And they only have Stamp on their special list here. So it's going to be the fact of if they can live to punch it out, which they don't, because there is no cooler. both of these teams have no coolers, so it's more so the fact of who can stay alive with their specials.
We'll have to see. It's not exactly the side that Run Them Down wants the Rainmaker be on, but are they willing to just stall it in that corner until it goes back to mid? It looks like that's going to be the play. Try and wait for Hyrax to fight into them since they have to. An unfortunate vertical flick potential misinput from the Flingza makes it so they kind of go down a little early, but it's 2v2. Run Them Down, some better super jumps can get another good fight here.
Yeah, we see Tacos gets a really nice pick on the Wiper here, but does get called up by Tide TV, but does get a really nice trade. And we see that Mario is going to have to set up here with a Crab to stop this Rainmaker.
Crab does stop the Rainmaker, sets up a good fight. 1 minute left on the clock, and Hyrax hasn't even broken the checkpoint yet. It's going to be a really hard set of pushes that they need to rip out of the match. And we have to see exactly how they can make this happen. Tandem missiles online, but players might be going down or a chance to use that. 52 Gal might be able to trade back something, but they're alone in mid. How much are they gonna get before they die? Unfortunately, not that much.
Unfortunately, does get called out by Tide TV, and the missiles did get no one, and Tide TV is wanting to get a pick here. Gets a half on the missiles. And it's more so the fact, can they even get mid-control back at this point? Because Tide TV is causing so much push aggression that they can't even get out. And that is a wipeout on the side of Hyrax Lovers, which unfortunately is not a good sign. As we see that Run Them Down is already on the right side. There is a Crab being pulled out. And it's looking like Tacos is going to try and go for a push, but gets shut down by Tide TV once again with only 10 seconds left. And Tide TV getting a delayed wipe here. That is going to probably be game at the moment.
And that is game. Set. Match for Run Them Down. An incredible few seconds push and the perfect stability that they could keep them through the rest of the game. They did it all and they got the win.
Amazing games from both teams here. It was so really nice to see some interesting comps be pulled out because of these gimmick rebuttlements. And it was just really fun to see how both of these games try to combat it with weapons that they love to play, as we see that both Mario and Tacos sticking to their true weapon types because those are the ones they are most comfortable with. But as we can see, Mario and Tide TV being so comfortable on their weapons were just so great as a duo that they were constantly being able to do some really great combinations, especially on this last game, as we see that Mario was doing some really great crab motions on this top right side, which immediately got them down to 1 point.
All the play. That Carbon Roller and 52 Gal were just making so many good solo plays. You think it's a one-player game with them down mid and all over the place. Some good Zuka snipes from the Carbon on occasions. Usually just holding the Zuka was enough to just intimidate the enemy team into cover, which is just perfect for them to push further forward. Great things from both teams.
Yeah, great from both teams. This was honestly some really awesome games on all of Gold Bracket. All of them were so close, and it was so fun to see all of them being almost overtime mostly. And once again, congratulations to Run Them Down for winning this tournament. You guys pushed really hard, and you guys have been playing for a while, so definitely drink some water and just calm down after this incredible feat.
Pretty good idea. It's a pretty good idea, I think. Yeah, they should definitely drink some water after that. It's a very, very hot match, very spicy.
Yeah, I love being able to see that Mario pulled out the crab on crab legs. Such a funny little innuendo that always happens sometimes. Definitely gonna have to give my congrats to most of the people on Run Them Down, as they are pretty good friends of mine. So I'm really happy to see that most of these people in Gold Bracket were really, really exceptional and had all really close games.
They're going to do with $300. It's quite a bit of money for a team. For a
You can buy Tomodachi Life.
Yo, it's out, ain't it? Actually, I don't know.
I think it comes out tomorrow or something like that, but go get Tomodachi Life.
All right. Well, Smolie, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitch at Smollett or on Twitter as the same username. I stream Splatoon and some other like cozy games, and it's just chill vibes all around. And where can people find you, Intense Microwave?
Usually on Blue Sky, the occasional Discord server, both by the same name, or usually by the same name. And I'm only named different in like these smaller servers where everyone knows what I am. So if you see like some sort of Ultra Kill related name, it would be me. But in general, thank you so much for everyone who donated, everyone who played, and everyone who was working on the tournament behind the scenes. It's been a great run, a great day to be a Splatoon player, I'm saying.
Yeah, thank you all who have donated to the Extra Life campaign. It is such a wonderful thing that Champlain is doing, and I'm super glad that they are getting some really great results with this tournament. And I'm super glad for the turnout that they did get in this tournament as well. And once again, congratulations to Run Them Down for winning the Deep Sea Student Exchange.
All we really have to say for today. Make it a good one.